Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, roadies. It is time for Ask Us Anything, the Tottenham Transfer Edition. I'm here with one and only Mr. Brian Daigle. Brian, how are you, sir? Good to see you, mate. You good?
I'm all good. I'm back home in London. Got to see my nephews and niece yesterday, and all is good apart from my sleep being absolutely, I'm going to choose my words carefully because we've only just started, messed up.
Yeah.
Messed up.
Yeah, let's get 10 minutes, man. Let's get 10
Yeah,
minutes.
let's get to 10 minutes. But yeah, no, all good otherwise. What about yourself?
Yeah, good, mate. Super busy with work. Just the sort of pre-pandemic work that I used to do is kind of back. So I'm as busy as I've been in almost 2.5 years, which is really strange. So I'm just trying to like do all this stuff plus the other stuff I do plus actually work and make some money again. So, but I'm not complaining. It's good times, and I'm enjoying the off season so far. The transfer rumors, knowing that there's potential for them to actually happen, and I know it's potential. I get that, but it's nice to have that potential, and of course some of the one signing we made so far officially, I think is an incredible signing, and we'll talk about that, I'm sure, as we get into this with the folks watching. This is Ask Us Anything. So it is a Tottenham Transfer Edition, which means we understand that that's going to be a lot of the conversation. It doesn't mean that you can't ask us anything about anything else. So please, you get in the comments, ask your questions. Make sure you put at the beginning of it @TOT so we can star those comments, because they will start to come in thick and fast and we'll need to manage them. And we will answer those questions. If you don't do that, we're going to skip through because we just need to know who's asking what question and star it. And of course, if you can get in super chats, that's going to guarantee your question is going to be asked. We'll get to it first and foremost as well. So get those super chats in and your questions in, and looking forward to this, because this is being one of our favorite shows we've done in the last little while.
Yeah.
So, looking forward to getting into some chat. Danny is in the comments. Danny, what's up, buddy?
No, brother.
Danny, we can't answer your question. You didn't put @TOT in the so this is an example. Even if it is Danny Kyriacou, he doesn't get his question answered. Shall we get into it, Brian?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, we'll say hello to everyone in there. Let's say hello to Cody,
sure.
Scott M, to Simon. Big up, Simon. I haven't seen you here for ages. Love Simon. It's good to see him. Adrian, big up to you. And of course, Cody Mack is in the building. So big up. So there's 31 of you guys in. Get your questions in. Just make sure, like it said, you put @TOT at the beginning, because last time they came in thick and fast and it was hard to keep up. So we're only going to star the ones that have got @TOT, like the good man Stevie Fraser has just done. So that will be the second question, because I have a question to come up with first, because a guy who's a very good supporter of the channel left a comment on the YouTube afterwards, saying, I didn't get to watch the show, but this would have been my question. So it's kind of relevant with the transfer. So it's from the Truth 82, which said, my question is a long-winded one, so bear with me. Given that Spurs are long overdue a big squad overhaul and many fans are hoping for 6 or 7 new signings, are you concerned at all about the time it takes for the team to gel? Especially know how Levy runs interference on any incomings, outgoings, which causes deals to drag. So off you go, Alan. You go first.
It's a great question, and I think it's the fear that many of us are having currently when it comes to getting players in. And of course, it's an international break as well, or not break, but it's in the players are all at an international duty, so you don't generally get a ton done during that. But the rumors are obviously there's a ton of them. I think it's different. I think the signing of Perisic this season that quickly, that soon, is a change from what we've seen previously. I'm not convinced 100% that that's going to be the case with every transfer, because every transfer has its own nuance. They're different from different, Perisic was out of contract, right? He was on a free. It's a much easier process. All you got to do is talk about his wages, figure out what those are. You don't have to do a transfer fee. There's no haggling. There's no Levy needing to be like, I need to save money here. You're just doing your weekly budget. Now, will that be the same with Bastoni coming in at 23 years old, who I think he's got a year left on his contract, who also is he's an Inter Milan kid. It's going to be harder to pull teeth out of that than it was out of the Perisic deal. So I think each deal is going to vary. But I do think we'll see more of these transfers happening before preseason, because I think Conte has insisted on that, and I think that was what he was showing, or what the club was showing with the Perisic transfer. So I am remaining cautiously optimistic about it, but I will remain in that position until I see further action from the club. If another player comes in, if Bastoni comes in like the next couple of weeks, I'm in. I'm good with it.
Okay, so what we will have to say about this, and first of all, like I said, remember to get your @TOT. You guys are running the show today, so we are answering your questions. There's no runner show apart from your questions. So
unless it's a super chat. If you get a super chat in, we can see it's a super chat. It's a lot easier to flag because there's a color on the side.
Yeah,
we can do those. So super chats, you don't have to put @TOT, but if it's just a regular comment, please do.
I can see we've already had one, so we'll do that as soon as I've answered this question. But yeah, just get those questions in because you are running the show. It can be about anything and everything, football, non-football. So just you run the show today. So right, my answer on this question.
Yeah.
Let's have a look. Are you concerned about the time it will take to get them to gel? Do you know what? I'm not. This is always a big problem about getting people to gel, and we all know that previous managers, or most managers, this is most managers in world football, want their team or the nucleus of their team ready for pre-season training. That gives them not only time to gel with the players, but to get with to get used to Antonio Conte's training regime, which everyone has said so
Needs
far from the rumours coming out is going to be like you're going to witness things you never thought you'd see. And there's still people that went through Poch, and he's apparently saying that there's things that you're not even going to see. So it's not even a case. For me, it's more of a case of not getting them to gel because players will do that, I imagine, throughout the season. But it's getting them up to the standard of fitness ready for a Conte season. That's the big issue I have. And the issue that's creeping in with me now is, yes, all these rumours have come out, and they're wonderful rumours. And do I think a lot of them will get down? I think a lot of them will get done. And for one, I think this Bastoni deal will get done. But if it doesn't get done because he loves the club, as in Inter, we can't really blame the board for that. That's me saying that.
Yeah, it's a tough one to pull, right?
It's like with Vlahovic. When Vlahovic was what rumours to be wanting 300 grand, I was like, as much as I want him, not for £300,000 a week. That's ridiculous. So if he says, I want to stay, then I just want there to be an option B ready to go. Ready, right, bang, here we go, not sitting around. So with the season coming so quickly, because it's starting on August the 6th, pre-season, here we are already at June the 7th. We need to start getting a move on. I know the window doesn't open until the 10th officially, but that doesn't mean you can't. I mean, we've heard that they've said Inter are awaiting a bid for Bastoni, whether you want to believe that or not. Go put a bid in. Go do something. We'll have to wait and see. I think from the 10th. And one thing I will add, I mean, people would have seen the kit launch today.
Yeah.
And someone reached out to me and messaged me and sent me a snippet. If you watch that video very, very carefully, now this could be subliminal kind of nonsense, but there's a flash of a calendar where they've got the day highlighted for the kit launch. But then there's a big circle around the next day. A big circle. And this has come from Tottenham's official kit release, not someone's doctored this. Whether it's just subliminal messaging and nothing's happening, but there could be news tomorrow. There could be a signing tomorrow. I don't think it's Bastoni. I think if anything, they'll announce
Fraser Forster, probably.
Or it could be Christian. It could be Christian Eriksen.
Yeah,
but it will be a free transfer. So it could just be a... like I said, a subliminal message, but that's my issue at the moment. My issue at the moment isn't so much getting them to gel; it's getting them fit for the season. What they do personally is it can be improved on during the season. It's their fitness that I care about. But I've seen some questions coming in.
We're getting a ton of questions that don't have @TOT at the beginning of them. I'm gonna include them in the questions chain for now because I want to answer these questions, but please just put @TOT, guys, because they are coming in thick and fast, and we need to be able to answer them. It's like every question is not having @TOT. Just put @TOT, guys. It's simple. We appreciate that. Yeah, great question. Brad, do you want to get to the next one that we've got?
Yeah, I've got them up. But the first one, as we said, if you get your super chats in, they will go as a priority. Yep. I would start with a very good friend and a great person that comes on We Are Tottenham TV. I can't wait to get on our channel. George Georgiou.
Oh, George, yeah.
I love this man more than life itself. One of the nicest men you could ever wish to meet. So yeah, any news on Djed Spence? What I've heard, and it started circulating yesterday, is that he is preferring Forest for guaranteed first team football. That doesn't mean Spurs, from what I know, can't put a bid in to get him and loan him back out to Forest if they think he's not first team. But from what people have been saying, apparently this is a Conte player. Apparently. But the news I've heard is he is favouring Notts Forest for first team football. Have you heard any different, Brian?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't heard that particular rumor, but what I have heard is that the asking price is pretty high, and that may sour Spurs on the purchase. I think I saw something about 45-50 million, and I think he's rated at 15 or something. So it's just sort of the asking price seems to be relatively high. I have seen that it like the obvious, the rumors that he's a Conte player, that Conte wants him. He seems like a solid player and would fit into the system really well. Not enough of an update for me to really say anything. It's one of those players I think that will be on a list of players in that position, and they'll be going for a few and decide which one is the best deal for them to take. There
we go. So that's that one. Let's right. If you keep an eye on the comments, Brian, yep. I'll deal with the starred one. So
okay, sounds good.
The next one is from Stevie Fraser, another great supporter. Big up. Wondering, could you ever date a Gooner? I'm going to let you go first on this, Brian.
No, absolutely not. I would never, ever date a Gooner. I generally don't like them as people. I know that sounds terrible. It's a harsh thing, but they're very weird. Arsenal fans are very weird. I have a good friend of mine who is an Arsenal fan through his father, but he's lived in Canada long enough. The weirdness got pushed out of him. Absolutely not. My girlfriend is a Spurs supporter through and through, so I'm going to stick with that.
Yeah, so I'm exactly the same. I mean, I can remember, this is how far I go with this. When Ilana, my wife, obviously came over to England the first time where we reunited and started our relationship, she came over here for a week and a half and had to work a few days of that over Christmas. And she loves all history and touring and traveling and whatever. And she bought one of these London passes where you get free entry to everything. And she actually said, I want this. I've got free entry to the Emirates. Can I go? I was like, hell no, you cannot step foot in that building. She didn't go on it. She no. Put it this way: if I have a child, please God have a child, they date an Arsenal fan, they won't be dating them for long. There is no way Arsenal is coming into my family. Yeah, it just couldn't happen, Stevie. Not a chance.
No way.
Yeah. So let's go to the next one, which is from Mr. 57 Screens himself, Wayne Bonner, a great supporter of the channel. On his opinion on Spence, I have my doubts about him. I'd rather have experience than potential. After you, Brian.
Yeah, this is the tough one for me. I don't know enough about him, and I think that's always a hard one. I didn't know anything about Kulusevski. I didn't know anything about Bentancur. They came in, they did a great job, suited Conte's system, and he got them playing at the level we needed immediately. Can he do that for Djed Spence if he's been looked at correctly by the team who's identifying players? If they've done their job properly and they've identified him as the player that's going to suit Conte's system, which I believe that's what's happening right now, I would be hopeful that that's going to be the case. Are there more experienced players I'd like to see in that position? I think 100%, Wayne. I would agree that that's the case. Now, are those players available is the other question. So that is part of the issue when it comes to this time of the season or of the year. Is the summer transfer window is mad, and who is available for what and when, and all of the cards that kind of fall when certain players go to certain positions or certain teams in those positions. Strikers are hard to come by. Left-sided center halves are hard to come by. Wing backs that play in a system with three at the back that can fly up and down the wing are hard to come by. So if you can find one that can suit a system like what I think Djed Spence would do in a Conte system, I'd say you try to get them as much as possible. Are there better players? Probably. But I think you got to give it a whirl.
So yeah, listen, when it comes to Djed Spence, for me, again, it's potential. It's potential, and I've said it on a few streams now. I've been looking at it, and I've said, if we were to get a Bastoni, if we were to get in the forward that he wants, the midfielder he wants, there may be a player where we will buy potential. I don't expect to buy A-listers.
We also have Doherty in that position who knows the position and can sort of lead a younger player potentially in what it is the system is. Yeah.
And I was speaking to our very own Danny Kyriacou, and even he said, you know what, it could be Doherty, and this is just his opinion, and I kind of agree that this could be a huge season for Doherty. Not saying that he is the number one right back.
Yeah,
this could be big for him. So Simeon was also talking about this as well on We Are Tottenham TV yesterday. And by the way, We Are Tottenham TV. Happy birthday, Ben!
Happy birthday, Ben! Hope you're watching this.
It's a few days before the winning of the year, so looking forward to that. But happy birthday, Ben! So yeah, even Simeon was saying, do you know what? He may be an exciting signing for a couple of seasons, but do you think he's had championship level? We're talking Champions League now. Now, yes, it happened with Delhi, where Delhi can come in and set the world alight, but it does not happen with every player.
Yeah, it's not like getting promoted and then playing as a promoted team when in a similar side. You're going to a team that's arguably two levels above, maybe even 3 from where you were. So it's a long stretch for sure.
So yeah, I agree with Wayne. I'd rather experience than. But this is what I said. I mean, let's put it this way to you, Brian, and let's see what people in the comments say as well. If I was to say to you, it would have to be Bastoni and Spence to make these defensive purchases, or Dumfries and let's say Rodham. You know which one where you're going to go. You'd rather the big money went on Bastoni. And if that's where money had to, and I'm only saying this is my opinion, and this is where I'm thinking within this summer there is going to have to be like a player that's brought in as potential. You're not going to shift all the way from we buy for the future.
That's what I mean. Like it's hard to just go, hey, we're going to buy every best player in that position. There are going to be scenarios where those players either aren't available or they're just, the deal isn't right. All of those sort of things can happen, right? So it's an interesting one. I just want to put up a quick comment that's in regards to this conversation from Adrian. Right-footed wingback Singo, Yilmaz, Michele, and Denmark international male can play on the left and right. Adrian, we're looking forward to getting you on the channel because you seem to know more about right wingbacks, right-sided wingbacks than I do, and probably that Brian does as well. So. I don't know any of these players, but are they better than Djed Spence? Are they have they played in England at least? I mean, those are the types of questions I'd ask. But good shout, Adrian. Thanks for the info on those players because I'm certainly going to look into them after the stream and see if there's any potential there.
Exactly. So there we go. So let's move on to the next one. Thank you very much indeed, Wayne. We have got from NWB. Son is happy, underappreciated in London and rumoured on Liverpool's list. Does Liverpool attract Kane? Kane seems to be why he stays. Thanks, mate. So, go on, Brian.
Yeah, I mean, is he underappreciated in London or is he just underappreciated across the board? I mean, the players who vote player of the season didn't vote for him. Of course, when they vote for it, it's like early in the season. So you can understand maybe in this case why that didn't happen because Salah's second half of the season was better than Sonny's. He's underappreciated across the board. I just find it really odd that he's not on everybody's list for player of the season and arguably should win it based on his statistics and he was just clinical this season. He's the best player in the league in that position, best forward in the league, I should say. There's obviously some players who defensively don't necessarily fall into that conversation. Does Liverpool attract? I think Liverpool does attract, but I think Liverpool's system is very specific. I actually think it's similar to what Conte's system is now as well. It's very specific. So if you're going to need to attract a certain type of player, mentally a certain type of player and physically and the ability to want to learn and put the work in. I think that Klopp expects that, and I think Conte expects that, and I think elite managers at elite clubs expect it. So Liverpool does attract. I think they've won the league, they've won 2 Champions Leagues, or they've been one Champions League and 2 finals. Or maybe even 3 finals, I think, because they lost Real Madrid twice now in a final. But yeah, of course they attract. The only difference is it's Liverpool compared to London. I mean, where do you want to live? I would imagine that most people would probably choose London over Liverpool. But if you're just a footballer and you want to go somewhere and you want to win something, and your chances of getting trophies is pretty freaking high at Liverpool. So does he attract Kane and Son? Do they leave to go to Liverpool in the current scenario with Conte at the helm? Absolutely not.
Yeah, so I'm going to come on this, and people got to remember during the season I was pretty critical of Son. I said I was wrong.
We had our moments. We had our moments.
Where he had his low, but listen, he is certainly underappreciated anywhere, apart from N17. The fact that he didn't get in the team of the season, the fact that he didn't name player of the season, in my eyes, borders on absolute lunacy. And I went as far as to say it's because he's Asian, and I do firmly believe it. How you can have a guy who scored 23 goals, none of them penalties, left foot, right foot. The kind
His
of guy
XG was like 2.4 or something. It was just
he was. There is no doubt in my mind, and he loves this club. He loves this club. Apparently, he turned down Manchester City and Liverpool before he joined us.
Oh,
now,
really?
obviously, with Pochettino, we were on the way up, so it wasn't like we were at our peak and Liverpool were behind us.
Yeah, fair.
But I don't think he ever leaves this club. I don't think when he leaves this club, Heung-min Son, he retires. Or if he does, he'll go back to career and finish it.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see that for sure.
Especially while Conte's there. While Conte's here, it's a nonsense. It's not even happening. So yeah, I can understand why people say that he is underappreciated. You got to imagine how he's feeling, and he scored an incredible free kick yesterday. He has to take our free kicks next season.
I know. Did you see that? I posted something about that on our Twitter. I was just like, oh my goodness. And I've been saying this for ages. He's taken our corner kicks. His delivery is fantastic. His goal scoring ratio compared to chances from outside the box is one of the highest in the leagues. That's where you take those free kicks from. We see him, he gets a free kick and he pops a top corner. I mean, come on. Hopefully Conte saw that, whether it was live or otherwise, and was like, okay, I got my free kick taker for next season. At least give him a go. Because if he's doing that on the first time I've ever seen him take a free kick and he pops it like that, I mean, it's a no-brainer, no?
Yeah, I mean, so literally, I see him and Kane staying for a while. Although I don't know why I said a few weeks ago, I have a feeling Kane will end up in the MLS. Not next season. I think he's going to sign his extension.
I can see that because he likes the US and American football and golf, and I can see him sort of like wanting to experience not necessarily
you look at the run of English
football,
players,
but experience not experience English football per se, but experience American culture. I feel like he's got that in him a little bit.
Well, you look at it as well, Brian. Gerrard, Lampard, Keane, Rooney,
Beckham.
these big players from England. Beckham, yeah, but you know, I mean, they are coming out. But I'm looking at Steven Gerrard as the main one at the moment because he stayed at one club all his career, wanted to try something different. You go to America, you've got no need to learn the language. You're going to earn a hell of a lot of money. Like you said, he loves American football. He loves American culture.
Yeah,
I can see him doing that. That's what I can see happening after he signs a contract extension, which I think he will do this summer. But there's that question answered.
Cheers, NWB. Thanks for it.
Next question from Amzo. Big up, Amzo. Big up the two Bryans. What's your thoughts on the possibility of Ndombele being sold for as low as 10 million or even being released from his contract very soon this summer?
What are your thoughts on that? I mean, obviously it's a giant waste of money, and I think most fans would be disappointed that it happened the way it did, and we all expected way more from this player because of what he had, the perspective from a prospect perspective, he looked like he was going to be incredible, but it's failed miserably as a transfer. I'd say I don't care at this point. Get him out of the club because I honestly think he's just in the way and it's just a distraction. We don't need any distraction this summer. If we lose money, we lose money. It doesn't affect me in any way. So get him out of the club, get somebody in. If we can get some money for him, great. Any bit of money would be fantastic. I think we could probably get closer to 15 or 20 for him at this point. I still think that there's clubs in different parts of the world, particularly in France and Spain, that would pay that a little bit for him, and he would go there and he would still have a reasonably good career. But it ain't happening in England. And get him out of my club.
Yeah, I mean, I from what we've been told, he's to be training by himself when he comes back, or with the under 23s. He's to be nowhere near the first team, and just get him out the door. I don't care what it is. Sell him for £10. I don't care. Just get him. And if you need to contribute to his wages for a bit, like what's happened with us when we bought players in from Madrid, or even Adebayor, when he came from Manchester City, Man City were paying a lot. Just get him off the books. Just get him out of the club. Exactly. It's a monumental cock up. And if this is going to be the new dawn and we start doing things, you don't need any of this deadwood or any of this negativity. So I don't care what it is you have to do to get him out or how much of a hit we have to take. you're going to have to take it because he cannot be anywhere near the team. He hasn't really pulled up any trees at Lyon as well. So
yeah, he went on loan back to the club that he came from, that he actually had a very good run with in the Champions League, where they beat Man City, and I think that's where he was scouted from our network, and it was sort of like, look at this player, bring him in. He's done it against Man City, and so that was kind of the thought, that didn't work out very well, did it?
Cool. Just to remember to put at TOT, get your questions in, or put super chats in if you can, if you want to. Those will get read out immediately once we finish a question, but keep them coming. We've got 14 in line right now. So We'll go on to the next one, which is from Simon Cohen. Big up, Simon. Which is, would you both like Bale back?
No. And I'll do it a quick just I think we just need to move forward. He's on a free if he's willing to take a massive hit on his wages and it doesn't affect bringing in other players, because I think that's the key. Is if you bring in Bale and that means that other players aren't going to come in and we lose an opportunity because of the position he fills, then I think it's a waste. If it's a scenario where he'll take the massive pay cut because he's going to have to, and he realizes he's likely going to be on the bench most of the time because Kulusevski's playing in that position, and for me, I'd rather Decky play or Decky start and have Bale come off the bench. But it's not for me the whole. It happened once already. He's come back once already. Let's move on.
Yep, I have to say I'm completely with you. Listen, there's big talk that Cardiff are going to get him. There's big talk he's going to take a monumental pay packet to pay for his hometown club.
Are they coming back up, or are they? I don't think they are. Right? So he's going to go down and play in the championship.
Well, put it this way: God knows with his fitness,
yeah,
know for a fact, Gareth Bale could be playing in the Conference League. He's going to the World Cup.
Yeah, that's it, right?
In any football league in the world, he is going to the World Cup if fit. There is no doubt whatsoever.
100%.
And you know what? Maybe he said, you know what? Funnily enough, with the contract I've just finished with Real Madrid, I've got a fair bob. I want to be sentimental and go home. Listen, Tottenham are always going to be an option.
Yeah.
I would want him there as a sub. If he came, I don't want him there. But if he came, I don't want him coming as a right. You're a starter. I think he comes on as a sub. Yes, his numbers are great, and when he's on form, he's brilliant. But we're moving forward now. Tottenham Hotspur are going to be moving forward, and it's not time to start bringing players back. I know that may be controversial. I know other people may think differently, but for me, I think the Bale time has gone. And I just have to say before we go to the next channel, there's someone that put in the comments, I think it was Jan, that said, alcohol-free Guinness, yuck. I have to say to you, thank God, it's one of the greatest things. And I'm thoroughly enjoying a non-alcoholic Guinness. So yeah, Guinness and black, which I'm going to have to get another one in a second. But thank you, Simon. Next one. Chris Hagenbar, big up, my brother.
What's up, Chris? How you doing, buddy?
So, funny story with this. It's got nothing to do. Is the yellow border around your screens in relation to the new home kit? We could lie and say, yes, we were visionaries and we could see it. But this is all the work of Danny Kyriacou, who's been doing loads of things behind the scenes, ready for new shows and new contents and new graphics to freshen it up. And this was all Danny, wasn't it?
It was, and the yellow is part of our logo, but it's also part of Spurs, tradition. And there's always a yellow cut, and of course that's probably why he's getting the or is asking the questions about the new home kit, because it has the yellow around the collar. I think
it's more lime green.
No, I think that's just photos. I think it's yellow. I think it's our traditional yellow. Look at it again. It's maybe it is. I don't know. I didn't see a lime green there. Maybe your eyes are going on you there, Bri. I think it's yellow. You're bringing it up.
Sorry. I was the next one. Sorry. So the next question we've got. Sorry, I just had so Adrian's just put on there that the transfer window opens from June the 10th and closes September the 1st. Yep. Thank you for that, Adrian. So the next one is from Mac, which is thoughts on Jesus. Now this could be interesting. Your thoughts, Brian?
This is a tough one for me because it's so hard to gauge in that Man City team what players are playing at their level that they could play at, because he's come off the bench so much. When he's come off the bench, especially towards the end of last season, he played very well. He was getting himself involved in games, but he does seem to be a bit of a whiner. And I think from an attitude perspective, if we're going to try to get ourselves in a position where we're going to compete with the likes of Man City and Liverpool, all players have to recognize their role and accept that they may not get the time that they want unless they earn it on the training pitch. And if Harry Kane, and this is a big issue, but is facts, is going to train better than you, and he's going to earn his spot because he's proven himself as a number one. Jesus hasn't totally done that. I like him as a player. I think he'd be good, like from a playing perspective. I think he'd be good for depth in the squad. I worry about his sort of attitude about not being first choice, and because he's already kind of struggling with that at Man City, and then that's the exact position he'd be in coming to Spurs. So like him, but don't like him at the same time as far as how he'd fit in the squad.
I want him big time. I want him big time. I do, because he can play anywhere across that three. So if they do need to rest Decky, if they do need to rest Son, or they have an injury or a suspension or whatever.
I know, but I agree with you there, but it's whether or not he would accept that and his attitude within that position. As a player, I agree with you 100%. As
a player, I'd have him 100%. Also, can you imagine how the Filth fans would be feeling?
Yeah, which is all worth it.
That puts another part on it, which makes me think, yeah, do you know what? I'll have some of him, and he can play. He can play. He comes in Premiership proven. Yes, his goals return, but he's in and out of the team. I would have him. I would have him. I mean, put it this way: we've been linked with Richarlison as well, and I would say Jesus over Richarlison.
I think I'd probably. I mean, that's a good shout. I think there's a little bit more of Richarlison for me in that his amount of football that he's played. He's a starter for Everton and has played as many games as he was fit for last season. So again, I just think Jesus coming off the bench, not playing, not starting, may have had an effect on his development. But I like him as a player, and I agree with you, Brian. I think across that front three, you can play him in any one of those three positions, and he's going to fill in and do a job. I think he wants to start up top, though. I think that's his goal, is to be that main guy that as a striker. So I wonder if that's going to translate leaving City and going to another club where he isn't going to be that person.
We'll have to wait and see. But that is a transfer I would really would like to see. So thank you, Mac. The next one is from Costadino. I'm not going to try and say the surname because I will butcher it to an absolute oblivion. Would you rather keep Lo Celso or Ndombele?
Oh, God, that's an awful question. Thanks, because Costadino Elefthero. I almost tell me how bad I butchered it. Sorry, I tried. One of us had to try. I would probably keep, from a playing perspective, because I think both of their attitudes are shit, and neither of them played. They both sort of down tools at Spurs, and so I hate when players just stop playing, because then they go somewhere else, whether it's to their national team or to another team in another league, and they play at a high level. I'd probably pick Lo Celso. I think his work rate when he's playing is much better, and so I would pick Lo Celso over Ndombele. From a talent perspective, Ndombele is just levels above most players, but just doesn't know how to use it.
Yep, I'm completely with you. Lo Celso's time has gone by. I really thought when we signed him and when Kane and Son were injured, I thought this could be a player that, if we can find the right position for him, he really could be something. He really could be. And then you see what he does for Argentina. But that's in Son's position, and we know that's not going to happen. Yes, he has been rumoured not to be able to get on with Conte as well. They've had a falling out. And
Lo Celso?
Yeah.
He was also anti-vax as well, which he didn't want to get vaccinated, and he isolated himself from a lot of the players because they all were upset with him that he didn't get vaccinated, because it was, obviously problematic during COVID. So I've heard a strong rumor that was had a big play in what had happened with the relationship with the players in the squad as well as management.
Yep. So I mean, if I had to, I would stick with saying I would keep Lo Celso, but it looks like they're both going to be gone.
Yeah, I just want to. Can I just pop up a comment from Cody just to remind, if you want your question brought up on the stream, start commenting by typing @TOT. Cody, thanks for popping that into the comments. It's a little hard for us to keep up because people are rolling in with questions. We will try to get to them. If we miss it, it's because it's no @TOT. So forgive us. Try to get it in there, and if we'll try to catch it as well either way. But also, obviously, the most important thing is get your super chats in, because we'll answer your question immediately if you get your super chats insights, and of course it helps the channel. Obviously, we've got a lot of work going on behind the scenes, and the support is massively helpful. So we'd appreciate that.
And also, as we said, it does not have to be football related. It could be any question you want to ask. Literally, ask us anything. So please feel free to. So right, we'll move on to the next question, which is from Dan Fries, another great supporter of the channel. How do you feel about the Istanbul reference in the kit release? Surely another big spending, a sign for big spending this summer. Now, I have to be honest, I don't know what the Istanbul reference is.
I don't either.
So, Dan, if you can let us know what that was. If there is one there, I don't. Would I see that as a sign of intent? I don't know. That'd just be Nike trying to put Nike something special in, or hopeful in. I can see where you're coming from, but I don't think that would be a sign of big intent, because getting to the Champions League final, it doesn't matter how much you spend. You've got to get the right players in. We've seen before when we spent loads getting the wrong players in, that it hasn't helped us. We need to make sure that we get it right. But Dan, if you put in a follow onto it, we will come back to that and follow that up, because Brian, like I said, Brian, you're not aware of that.
No, I don't know anything about it. So Dan, if you could add in the comments what it is it's in reference to, or let us know where we can find the reference to that, because I haven't seen anything about it. Okay, so let's have a look. Has anyone put it in the actual comments?
Istanbul reference equals chat. I know Hamzo, I know the Champions League final is in Istanbul, but I don't understand where the kit reference is.
Yeah, that's the part I'm unaware of as well. Champions League final. The Champions League final is in Istanbul. So
yeah, that I get, but where is that on the kit? That's the bit I'm not getting.
Oh, I see. How do you feel about this reference and the Reese kit? Good question. Yeah, okay.
That's
still confusing. yeah, for sure.
Wait, Dan has just put it in. Yeah, you've just commented on it.
Oh,
Someone was holding a leaflet of things to do in Amsterdam, suggesting. Okay.
Let's just put it up.
It's not,
yeah.
So it's not within the kit. It was a leaflet. Yeah, I mean that's something. That's just to get everyone riled up. I mean, obviously we're going to find out what happens and what our squad looks like come to September the 1st, and then we go from there. So yeah, it's just a little touch to put on, isn't it, Brian?
Yeah, 100%, absolutely.
So thank you for your question. So let's get rid of. Then we had another one with Tottenham on tour. Would you keep? We've had the Celso and Ndombele. Okay, here we go. SOF. Is Spence a Conte signing or Levy? Perisic is clearly Conte. Wouldn't you think he wants someone that level on the right? It's a great question.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of addressed this somewhat already, but to add to it again, I think with, it's going to depend on availability. Is he a Conte signing or Levy signing? I don't think anybody's a Levy signing right now. I honestly think, and this may be me being naive, but this is where I think the club is at, and this is why we're seeing the difference so far in the transfer window. And I know we've only got one signing, but I do think those other ones are incoming quickly as well. I think everybody is a Conte signing at this point. I think even when Levy's considering a player, it's going through Perisic and Conte before anything happens. So I think I think that's kind of where things are at. That's my opinion. I know that might not be popular with some people, but I think we're in a position now where Levy has taken his hands off the wheel. It may be temporary, like we've seen in the past where he's done it briefly and then put his hands back on. But I think currently everything is going through Perisic and Conte.
Yeah, I mean, I've got to say, I was kind of in agreement with SOF, thinking this is a Levy signing, but I wasn't opposed to it. I'm not saying just because it was a Levy signing. As I said earlier, there's going to be a time in this window where we're not going straight for A-listers everywhere. Yes, we want to, but we have to be serious in what we're doing here. Yes, we're going to try and get in the right players, but it's not going to be all done A-listers in the first window. Here we go. It's not Roman Abramovich or Man City. It's a positive step forward. And from what I was hearing the last couple of days, apparently Spence is a Conte one. But again, this is all media hype.
Yeah, again, that's the hardest thing. We're answering questions about things we don't necessarily know the answer to. We'll try to speculate, of course, because that's all we can. Can do, excuse me.
So yeah, what happened with me when I first heard these links? I straight away started going mad, as I do, thinking, "Oh, here we go again." Da, 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 da. But then, obviously, taking just a step back and time to process, and then hearing that this could be, then we'll have to wait and see. The most important thing about all this is if they get done and when they get done. This is the big thing now. This is a huge month for us.
It really is. It has to happen before we go to Korea on tour. There has to be at least 2 more, I think, key signings. One of them being that right wing back position, and another one being arguably either that creative midfielder that we need or another center half, left-sided center half. Bastoni would be incredible. Those 2 of those signings need to happen, because then whatever happens after that, it's likely because they couldn't get it done, or they're trying to get it done, but they've shown that the work is being put in. They're getting the players in that they need to.
Exactly. So thank you, SOF, and like I said, please, if you're enjoying it, like and subscribe to the channel as well. We really do appreciate your support.
Yeah, 124 people watching. I'm not quite sure how many likes we've got on I think 51 likes, less than half. So get in there and like the video, please, because it helps us a lot. And if you can't super chat, slap a like, because that's going to help us in a different way, but it's worth it for us. So please get your likes in. You know what? Brian will get a tattoo if we get to 125.
Whoa.
If we can get to 125 likes in the next 30 seconds, Brian will get another tattoo.
Well, no, I've got to get another tattoo anyway. I've got to get Tottenham on Tour tattooed here. I told you I've already had the price. So moving on to the next one that was starred, which is Adita, big supporter.
Yep.
Will Spurs fans go nuclear on Levy if Conte walks away for obvious reasons?
I mean, yeah, of course they will. I mean, it would be a massive failure. I think we are at a point, and we've had this discussion on this channel before and many other streams and other channels, that Conte has put Levy in a corner. If you don't back me, you will lose faith in even the ones who are staunch, Levy in people are gonna be like, whoa, man, like you've really bottled it this time. So yeah, I think Spurs fans are going to go nuclear, and I think it won't just be those of us who have been critical of the regime as we have, but I think those who've sat on, whether they're on the fence or whether they are Levy inners, are going to be like, oh man, maybe those guys have a point if he doesn't get the job done, because he absolutely has to back Conte this window, and it'll be an absolute failure.
Okay, so I'm gonna be careful how I word this answer. I've got to be careful with now. Do I think? First of all, I have to say, and I'm going to say this at the beginning, I don't think Conte's going anywhere. I don't think he's going anywhere. So I can actually say that I don't think this is going to happen. I seriously think Conte's here. I would love to say for the long haul, but I reckon at least 2-3 years he will be here for.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm convinced on that. But what I will say is, let's just play this game, and that Conte does walk. Do I think Spurs fans will go nuclear? I know a section of them will, guaranteed. Guaranteed, and I will be at the heart and all over that, trust me, and I think people know that. But I think we've got to a point now where I don't think this fan base will. I think a larger section will come out, and some more people will say, now, right, that's it.
I think your fence sitters, Brian. I think your fence sitters, the ones who are kind of like don't want, like I was previously, and I still kind of am to some extent. I still want us to not be annoyed with the club, but I am. So I've kind of allowed myself to see the evidence for it. I think those people who are kind of sitting there on that fence, kind of going, I don't know, are this is the best opportunity in the Premier League era that we've had, with a manager and 2 of the arguably the best forwards in world football at the moment at the same time. If you miss that opportunity, you've failed at your job and you need to go. And I think that if you don't see that, it doesn't even matter if you're fully Levy in, that's a big enough mistake in any person's job if they make that type of error to get sacked. So it would be, or to at least to be called to be sacked. I know that it's a little more different when you have shares and you're part owner, but it's I mean, you'd have to be completely silly to not recognize the absolute failure of that if that transpired.
Well, we'd have to wait and see. I mean, like I said, I think there'll be a larger majority, but I don't think it will be a collective. I don't think everyone's singing from the same song sheet. But like I said, and I want to say this, how I want to end this, how I started it. I think I think Conte is here for the long haul. I don't think he is going anywhere. So that's a bit of positivity to put on that one. And then we go to the next one from Wayne Bonner. What are your thoughts on the possibility of our transfer business being done before pre-season, as Conte wants, and to his satisfaction, RE players type of players he wants?
Yeah, this is similar to the previous question, but a little bit more in depth and a little bit slightly varied. I think the possibility is high, or higher than it's ever been in any previous season when we're going into the transfer window. I think it will be some. I don't think we're going to get every single player in every position sorted. That's just difficult for any team to do. If the effort's there and we get, I think, over 2/3 of those players. So if we get 4 out of 6, for instance, for me, that's a success. 3 out of the 5 targets, that's a success. If it's under that, if it's under half, then I'm going to be like, okay, that's a failure and that's a problem. So whether or not it'll happen or not, the likelihood of it is so hard to tell right now. I think we'll know in about a week or so when the players get back from international duty and the window officially is like spread open, because I think that's when the movement will happen.
Yep, no, you're right there. So I've got 2 answers to this kind of thing. I think there's 2 stages to this. I think there's having them in before pre-season, which is what he wants and which we have to strive to do. And then there's getting them in before career. I won't accept, if we're still trying to get most of our business done before the season at the season start and before the deadline day, and I'm saying a majority of it, then I'm going to be absolutely furious. I will be going nuclear. But I think a majority has to. I mean, we've been through this with Pochettino, where Pochettino always said, at the end of the season, I want my players here early. I want my players here early. I want my players here early because of my training. I think he knows this now. I think the man above knows it, and he has to act. And especially, like we said, everything being brought forward because of the World Cup. You have to get your targets in early. You have to get them. You have to get them in. And do I want most of them in before pre-season? 100 billion%. Will I be a little bit lenient and say towards before career? Yeah, I think I will. I will do. But if they're not on the plane to career, then I'm going to start being really, really frustrated, because he has said it from the beginning. He's instructed what he wants. And if it's not listened to, then these whole issues, which leads on to Kuva's question, comes in.
Before we get to that, I just quickly want to bring up Bobby's super chat. Bobby K in the chat. Thanks, buddy. For Daigle Bad Bets Tattoo Fund. We've got a running tattoo fund that we're getting in. So get your super chats in, if not for any other way to support it, but to support Brian getting another tattoo that he's made a stupid bet on.
Yep, and there'll be another vlog. I've already had it quoted, $200, and it will be on this shoulder. So that's definitely happening before the season. That will be happening. But yeah, going back to Wayne's comment, these are the 2 kind of thought process I've had. I've had pre-season. Yes, I want to see a Bastoni in there. Of course I do. I want to see whoever else is coming in. And Bastoni, as we know, this is the one for me. Yes, Bastoni has said, listen, this is my club. It's going to be very, very hard for me to leave. But we need to have a second option. We need to have a
there's got to be backups for sure. Yeah,
we need to have, not just because Bastoni, and if, like I said, if Bastoni says I don't want to leave and to find a way to keep him, then that can't be helped by the club. If a player wants to stay at a club, then there's no moving.
Can't do anything.
Like we've had that before Bale moved to Madrid, when all clubs wanted him and he kept committing. So you have to applaud the guy's loyalty. But if Bastoni is the one, he said get at all costs. I saw something yesterday that said Inter are awaiting an official bid from Spurs. Put the bid in.
Yeah, get it in.
Duty. I know he's on international duty. I know this is going to take time, but put the bid in. So for me, and thank you, Adrian. So I'm giving him to the 1st of July, and then obviously the 13th of July.
Yeah, I just to let you know. Sorry, I added Adrian's comment here just to add to the conversation. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah. So if the majority, and I'm like you, and I've said all along, if we get over 50% Conte's targets, then I would be happy and say, do you know what, we've bought what this manager wants, and he's got a good nucleus there already. But if they're not on that plane to career and we're still waiting to get the big deals done, I am not going to be a happy person at all, and I don't think a lot of us will.
Sure.
I'm going to read the next question, and then I'm just going to quickly run and get another Guinness. So I'll let you read it, Bryce. It's from a great supporter of the channel and a great friend, Kuva99. Do you think it's possible for Levy to both be seen to back the manager and only spend a relatively modest amount of this summer's, despite the cash injection from ENIC? I'll let you answer that, Brian, while I just go get my my Guinness.
Yeah, for sure. Kuva, great question. Do you think it's possible for Levy to both be seen to back the manager and only spend a relatively modest amount this summer, despite the cash injection from ENIC? I think that partially, yes. I would think that he can. I think the thing about Conte is and you know, there is sort of, I think, the lack of understanding of what he's done at previous clubs. It's not necessarily about having a ton of money. It's about making sure that you buy the targets he's targeting, the players that he needs. If he comes out after this the window is closing or just before they go on tour and says, I'm really happy with the squad I got the players, or most of the players that I wanted, despite not spending a ton of money, then you're going to believe him. We're going to know. I think it'll be relatively obvious whether or not he's been given the backing he deserves, because we've seen him come out and say it. He's not going to hide it. I do think it's possible, Kuva. It'll be interesting to see how it pans out. It's a hard one, but the cash injection isn't necessarily just for transfers, so we shouldn't expect them to say we're spending 150 million and that's what gets spent. It was a on and off the pitch comment, which was added to that statement from the club. So whether or not that all of it goes to transfers, and of course we've got players going out, the money coming back in, where that goes and how the budget is managed is a whole other conversation. But I think he can get backed and not spend 300 million pound pretty easily, with his ability as a manager to make everybody better. And if he identifies somebody, then that's what I'd expect to happen.
There you go. So mine on this is the cash injection has obviously been there, and we know it's said on and off the field. So we know the whole 150 may not be going on the players, which is fair play. We don't know the percentage. It could be 65-35. It could be greater. It could be 50, whatever it is. But then you've got finishing fourth money coming in. Then you've got Champions League money coming in. Then you've got there's loads of money coming in now. We've all said it, that we have spent money. We've just spent it atrociously. We have just spent it absolutely. Now, what I thought, for me, what this 150 million means is we should no longer be losing out on players for a bid of 5-10 because the club wants 5-10 million more. That's what, for me, this money is. We've lost out on so many players. We can say, and whether they've turned out well at their other clubs or not, the Grealishes, the Fernandes, the Dybalas, and it's always been a 5 million here, a 10 million there, a 20,000 a week on their wages here. Well, this injection for me eliminates all of that. With Perisic, scouting is going in the right direction. Not saying everything's been a success, because
it's improved. It's improved. Yeah, exactly.
In the short time he's had, listen, we have everyone will talk about the three players: Romero, Kulusevski, and Bentancur, religiously, because they have been fantastic additions. Mm-hmm. So you look at Skriniar, for instance. The perfect example I use is Skriniar. A couple of seasons ago, when Steve Hitchen was trying to get him, and he was trying to offer this amount, and Inter Milan said, no, I want this amount. Then they came, this should eliminate, this 150 million should absolutely eliminate all this. Oh no, we're going to try and haggle over 5-10 million.
The haggling should go away, because you're able to chuck in an extra 5 to 10.
Exactly.
Let's ice it. Let's get it done. Yeah.
Because, like I said, you look at it, and the thing you got to look at with Conte as well, he's not Mourinho. He doesn't come and spend hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of millions. He identifies players that fit his model, that he knows have the mentality, the physique, the willpower, the dedication, the determination, and will do the job. And he doesn't care if that costs 20 million, but there's a player up there at 60, 70 million. If he knows that this guy can do a job for him,
does he fit into my system, and is it going to work for what I want to do on the pitch? That's always going to be the Conte way.
Exactly. So I think honestly, we can do this wisely. It's got to be wisely. And when it comes to it, for instance, with Bastoni, if they want whatever £60 million is, just give them £60 million. Not, oh, okay, we'll give you 54 and then this and then that. And that. If Conte wants him, a player wants, and I'll go back to Van Dijk, 75 million from Southampton. Okay, bang, there you go, 75 mil.
Yeah.
Done, signed, sealed, delivered, get it over the line, give it to Conte and let Conte just
work his
do
magic.
what he does. So I think this can be done. This summer, we always say, and I hate saying that, this is a huge summer.
Yeah,
but
it really is. This is arguably the biggest one we've had. I would in our history, at least in our Premier League history, I would say.
I would say in the time that I've been alive, and obviously I can't count from when I was like growing up as a 7-year-old and 8-year-old, not understanding the transfer policy, but in my lifetime of supporting Spurs, this is, and with the announcement, this is the biggest all eyes are watching you, there's no excuses window that we've ever had. So thank you, Kuba. We'll go on to the next question, which is, will Antonio Conte, first of all, thank you, Lemuel Smurden. I'm sure I butchered that and I apologise if I have. Will Antonio Conte stay at Spurs or will PSG tempt him?
Conte will stay at Spurs and PSG won't tempt him. I don't even know that. I think that PSG rumor is bollocks. Why would he go? Why would he go to the French league when he's in the best league in the world for a team that, sure they could spend a ton of money, but that's really not his thing. He's not going to go and try to train the way he trains a bunch of spoiled brats who are used to getting paid a ton of money and not working hard because they don't have to. It's absolutely the wrong place. I could never see him end. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't. It just would never happen from his perspective. It's not that his type of league, his type of club, or his type of situation that he'd want to get himself in. Will he stay at Spurs? I think he will. I think what happens this summer, as we just said, will determine for how long. I think he'll ride out that 18 months. And if we have a good season and he gets the players he wants this season or this summer, then I think there's potential for him to stay a couple more years after that.
So yeah, I mean, I'm going to quote someone, and I hope he's still in the comments. A good friend of ours, Sean Butler.
What's up, Sean?
I hope everything's good with you, Sean, if you're still in there. Sean Butler has been using the terminology, and I love it. It's like Antonio Conte has been just with loads of girlfriends that he can't commit to, and he's been looking for a wife. well,
that's a good one, Sean.
It's the best analogy, and I think he's found it. I completely agree with Sean on this. I think he loves this club, and if he is going to be back the way we all are led to believe he's going to be back, like I said, I see him staying. I see him signing a contract and actually staying here for a long time. I'm not talking 10, 15 years.
This summer, though, matters for that, no? For you?
Yeah.
Like, it has to be what we expect, or he doesn't stay.
He has to come out at the end of this window and say, I'm delighted with what the club have done, or I'm words to that effect.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, I don't think he's going PSG certainly not this summer. That's for damn sure.
No.
That's for damn sure. So thank you. Then we go back to SOF. So, this is a really good question. So, Spurs need a world-class midfielder to compete for titles. Look at City, Liverpool, Chelsea. Who would your realistic midfield targets be?
Oh man, this is a tough one because I like it's a good question. I like our current midfield, but I think everybody would agree the thing that we're missing in our midfield is that creative player that's gonna get that extra ball in the box, that extra chance created, that extra thought of a player moving off the ball and being able to see the pass that some of our current midfield don't have. The obvious answer to this is, and that many people have talked about, and then it's keeps coming up, is having Christian Eriksen come back. I'm iffy on this one. I don't know if I like the idea of Eriksen coming back. I like what he produced at Brentford. I don't necessarily like how he left, but I can be forgiven for things if he comes back and does the job. He's worked with Conte before. When it comes to other midfielders that are available right now, like the type of midfielder we need, there's not a ton of options. There's not a ton of sort of your classic 10s available. Weston McKennie comes to mind, but still not. He's more of a box-to-box player, not necessarily your creative midfielder. of course, the system we're playing doesn't necessarily play with the 10 either. So do we need that 10, or do we need somebody who can play in an 8 or 6, but also has the ability that a 10 would have, you can pick the pass, but also can get up and down the pitch, which Eriksen arguably can. He has a history of running more than anybody else on a pitch. He did it at Spurs, at least under Pochettino. So I don't know, Brian, if you have any other specific names that pop to mind. I know there's some in the comments. Barella, Savic, Kessie. These are all players that I think could go into this side. Are they better than what we have? Probably a little bit. Conte is going to make every player that comes in fit his system and be better. Somebody else has mentioned Maddison in the chat. I rate Maddison as a player in Leicester. I don't know. Does he fit into a Conte system? Does he work hard enough, or is he a bit more luxury in a team that plays a system that suits him or builds it around him? I don't think that necessarily works, but maybe I could be wrong. We'll get. Adrian's posted another few in here that are, and I'm sure you're going to get to one of these. Basuma, Neves. Ward-Prowse, who was a big one. I think Ward-Prowse for his free kicks at the very least. Tielemans has been talked about. Sabitzer was kind of on the list a couple seasons ago, but nothing's come through there. And Zaniolo. Anyone in that list here? I'm just going to pop it on screen as well. From Adrian. Obviously the Ward-Prowse one's gonna be your top target there.
But this is the thing. SOF obviously says a world-class midfielder. Do I think Ward-Prowse is world-class? No.
Yeah, I know, and that's the thing. Like, that's why you look at the list. Basuma, I wouldn't put world-class. Neves, I wouldn't put world-class. McGinn, I wouldn't put world-class.
I'll go through this list very quickly. I mean, Ward-Prowse is someone I would say, because I've literally been saying that the whole time. But when you say world-class, it's Basuma is a great player. It's a great player. I would take him. Neves, Danny Kyriacou absolutely loves this kid.
He could be that type of player that could do that 8 role with some creativity, maybe fit into a 10 sometimes, right? Like the way Wolves play. Yeah,
he's also great. But you know what? I spoke to Danny over the weekend about this, and I think his first season in the Championship and first couple of seasons at Wolves, he was phenomenal. But for the last 2 seasons, and I don't know if it's because Wolves have gone to a back 4. It's just, for me, it just seems he's lost a bit. But if he comes, everyone's raving about him. So I just personally don't see it myself. If he came to the club, would I be disappointed? No. McGinn is very underrated at Aston Villa, but I don't think if he came again,
he's no better than Skip or Højbjerg, and that's the type of role he's going to play. So for me, it's
Eriksen. I don't want Maddison. I have to say, through categorically is not going to happen.
Yeah,
categorically is not going to happen. He's Arsenal. We've messed him about twice. He will not be coming to Spurs. Tielemans, I love him, but apparently his attitude has sucked. And I've spoken to my Leicester friend and said, listen, when he's on it, but his attitude. And if we're trying to get rid of all these bad attitudes, not
a Conte player when it comes to his attitude.
Player, yes. Tielemans the person.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm unsure. I can't pronounce the first name, but I can say Savic. Everyone, and I do mean everyone.
Milikovic Savic.
There we go. So in a heartbeat.
This guy would take in a sec, and world class as well.
In a heartbeat. Sabitzer, I absolutely love and wanted him originally. I would love Sabitzer and Zaniolo. So, Jesus Christ, we don't want for much, do we? But yeah, they are the ones I would say. But Ward-Prowse, I've got a big love for his set pieces and everything. And I think under Conte, he could go up levels.
I would take him or Eriksen over anybody on this list other than Savic, probably.
Yeah, I think Savic is a bit.
Ward-Prowse, Eriksen, or Savic for me would bring something to the team that we don't currently have.
Yeah, so yeah, that's how we can say it. So the next one, the first one that's not asking us a football-related question.
All right, here we go.
So big up! I love this dude. I haven't seen him for a bit. Audio, he's got another one in there as well. Audio Artisan, Tottenham On Tour. What's your favourite biscuit for dunking?
Now, I don't dunk these days. I don't dunk these days. I used to dunk back in the day when I used to drink a lot of tea and I used to do a lot of dunking. And I believe at the time, the dunking that I used to do, and I'm trying to think of the name of the biscuit. It was I can't think of the name of it. It was so long ago. I'll let you go first. I'll see if I can think of it while you're thinking about it. But it was perfect for the dunk because it held the right amount of milk without falling apart. so you still get the crunch,
Okay.
and I mean that's the most important thing. So I'll give you my attributes of a good dunking cookie, but I don't necessarily, or I can't necessarily remember the name of it. But go on, Brad.
So yeah, I mean, Aljo, I think you'll know where I'm. If anyone knows Peter Kay, I think people will know where I'm going with this. The comedian who actually did a whole sketch on this.
Oh, did he?
And yeah, I'll send it to you afterwards. It's brilliant. But where he spoke about a biscuit we have over here called Rich Tea, and he said they should be called one dips because you put it in and it does exactly what you said. It just melts
right?
in
Yeah,
your
you
biscuit.
can't have that. That's not a good dunking.
And then he went on to say a biscuit that's like the Marines of biscuits, and they're like, dip me again, and they are hobnobs.
Oh, the hobnobs. That's a good one. That's a good one.
So hobnobs are the Marines, as Peter Kay said, and they are without doubt the best Dunkin' biscuits.
It's a good question. If I remember the name of mine, I'll get back to it. I'll make sure we let you know, Audio Artisan, that which one is my favorite. I can't think of the name of it. It's a Canadian cookie, and it just withstands the difficulty that milk brings to the table.
There we go. So we're going to the next one, which is from and these names I think they're being made just for me to try, or you to try and butcher, which is Missowati.
Miziowati.
So would winning the Premier League, Champions League, FA Cup make you cry? I think I would cry. I don't know if he means all three or either.
Any one of the three, I think, is what he's saying. I think the Premier League, absolutely. The Champions League, absolutely. Yes, the FA Cup, absolutely. I think it's been so bloody long. I would cry if we won a fucking trophy. I mean, maybe the League Cup would be like, I would, be extremely happy, and I might well up a touch. But certainly the Premier League, the Champions League, and the FA Cup. I love the FA Cup as a tournament. It's one of my favorite tournaments. It's just super fun. But the Premier League and the Champions League that would be incredible. Absolutely incredible, especially since how close we've come in recent history to being in the conversation for all the Premier League and the Champions League and the FA Cup, to be fair, and just not been able to get over the line. It would be a massive relief, and I think tears would be one of the best ways to manage that relief. So
yeah, I mean, first of all, Brian, I kept me, and this has reminded me, I want to say to you, I was thinking you and me should go on a hotel website and reserve right now, or not like right now on this stream, but a room in Turkey on those free cancellations for a room in Turkey, just in case we get there. And then if we don't, we have free cancellation because the rates will go up ridiculously. So I think you and me need to look into booking a hotel in Turkey in June next year. And then if we go out of the cup, we just lose it, and then whatever.
Good shout.
I know for a fact that I'll cry, whether it be the League Cup as well. And the reason I know why is obviously people know about my demons with alcohol and everything. And I hadn't got to go to Tottenham for about 10 years because I lived in Israel and then fight my demons. And then I went to a friendly. The pre-season friendly where Roberto Soldado made his debut the week before the season.
That was the same season that I met Soldado when Pochettino's first season, right?
Yeah. So no, it was Villas-Boas.
You said was it Villas-Boas? I guess he was there the season before. You're right.
Summer we were just waiting for Bale to go.
Gotcha.
So my friends that I worked with at the time booked tickets to go to that game. I think it was about 8-9 of us, and it was the first time I'd been to the ground in like 10 years. And we were sitting in the Park Lane Upper, and by the time I walked up and saw the pitch, I started crying my eyes out because it was the first time for 10 years, and the journey had come on. So I know for sure, Tottenham win a cup, I'll be at the Scotland Yard or at the final, and I will be going batshit crazy. But I will be going batshit crazy, most definitely with tears in my.
If we're in contention for the Premier League next season, and even if just in contention, I'm spending the last month of the season in London. Like that's what we have to do. That that's got to.
Okay, I hope Lana's watching this because I'll second that. I'll second that. If you're watching, darling, I might be coming home in April. But yeah, next one, and I'm not going to say the surname because I'm sure it's Darius from Paxton Road, but he's put on a very peculiar name, so I'm just to say Darius. I think it's him.
He's messing with us for sure.
I think it is him. I'm not. If it's not, then Darius, I apologise. But would you give Emerson a chance of one more season?
No, not if we could reach our targets. I don't think Emerson is the player that's going to play the football that we need on that position. He's done okay in the last few games to sort of step up his game, but he's not a wing back. and it's not a system that suits him. I wish him the best of luck. If we can't bring in any of the targets we have, or we can only bring in one of the targets we have, and we have Doherty, Emerson, and then one of those targets, whoever that might be, hopefully the best target, I'd say from a depth perspective and the amount of football we're going to play, it wouldn't hurt to have him on board. But for me, he's not going to he's not going to play a ton of football, and I'd move him on.
There you go. So you know what, this is really tough when it comes to this summer. Listen, he started off atrociously. He was bought as a right back, not as a right wing back.
Yeah.
Ended the season very, very well. Feel very sorry for him. What happened to him in Brazil?
Yeah, pretty tough stuff off the pitch.
Yeah, but sentiment is over. Listen, one of them, Doherty or Emerson, are going this summer. If another one comes in, but there won't be three. Who are we going to get the most money for? It would be Emerson, I think. Doherty, I don't think has much of a sell on. So it's such a hard one. It's such a hard. I think if we had to sell one, it would be him.
Yeah.
But do you know what? I think
Doherty can do the job, at least, which we know he can do the job that is required in a wing back position. Not consistently enough, not at the top of the not top level that we need, but we know he can do it, and so we need to get better than that. Better than Doherty, and Doherty as an option, but a wing back that could come in and make Doherty work for his position. That's what we need. Emerson is not going to do that. He's not up to snuff.
Yep, completely agree. So there we go with that one. Now we go to Rumin 8, which is James Maddison or get Eriksen back. Now I've seen in the comments as well people saying, or Adita saying he's a Coventry fan. He may be a Coventry fan, but he has openly said he would like to play for Arsenal. So I think that's where
I think that is true. I've seen him. And
he has said he may not be. That may be where I've got everyone saying he's an Arsenal fan. He has openly come out and said he'd like to play for Arsenal, and we have squandered the chance to sign him twice. So going back to this, if you had the choice of these two,
I'd take Eriksen back in a second. I think just because of his relationship with the club, but also his relationship with Conte when he was at Inter, and knowing the system and knowing what the expectations are to play under him. You don't have to try to convince a whingy prick like Maddison to learn how to work hard and not complain off the pitch when he doesn't get what he wants. You get a Christian Eriksen who knows the role that he's going to play and how he's going to play it and what the expectations are to get there. So Eriksen's easy choice for me.
To see now, if I take my James Maddison won't come to Spurs cap off and just think about the player, I think I'm going Maddison. And the only reason I'm going Maddison is he's still going up. He's still going up. He's going to get better. Yes, he's got a bit of an attitude problem. It's been seen.
But that isn't that consistent with what we don't want? Is that attitude problem?
Yeah, but I think it's an attitude problem that Conte could fix. It's not like an Ndombele where he's just going to come in and not change, or a Dele. But yeah, I listen. If Eriksen comes back this summer, will I be happy? I guess. Will I be absolutely ecstatic and excited? No, because I think he needs to play in a 3. If we were playing in a 3-5-2, I'd be a lot more on board with this. And also,
what option each of them give you in this case is the ability to play a 3-5-2 when you need to switch. And this is something we struggled with at the end of last season. Was teams found us out. It's a 3-4-3. We know exactly what they're going to play. We know it's going to go through Kane. He's going to drop deep. The wingback's going to go high. They can defend against it because they understand it. Okay, the team's set up for that. We're going to play 3 in the middle. In the midfield, we're going to play a 3-5-2 instead. That changes the system somewhat. You got one more player in the midfield, so you got more control, and then you've got that creative outlet that is Kane not necessarily dropping deep, meaning you got 2 players up top you can hit. So you're changing what's going to happen defensively for the other team. I think having an option of having that player on the bench, whether it's Maddison or Eriksen, is a must this season because we need to have more than one system to play. We can't play a 3-4-3 all season and get away with it, or we'll get found out.
Yep, this is true. Now we come to a big supporter of the channel, and my Achi Ben Kaufman, the coffee guy.
What's up, buddy?
Everyone check out his channel, the coffee company, or the coffee guy. And it's, are the Jesus links legit, or are we being used to sell players again? # show me the money.
Good question on that. Again, the Jesus links for me, I think there's legit interest. Whether or not there's been, and this is likely the case, there probably hasn't been any money thrown at it or a bid thrown at it at all. There's other teams who are looking at him. He's a player that's going to want to go, so he's going to be an easy thought or an easy, for the journos to go, hey, this player is available. Spurs are in for him. I don't know. I honestly, this season is the off season is such a hard one to sort of determine the truth of any of it, it's what Bob said, when they're wearing the shirt, I'll believe it. And I think that's still going to be the case. I am leaning a little bit more towards some of the bigger rumors happening and coming true based on who it is that's talking about them. And I think there's a question coming up that addresses that, what the papers are saying and whether or not we should believe it. But I don't think we're being used right now. I think people are going to use us because of the position we're in.
So yeah, I mean, with this actual link, I think it's genuine. I think there is genuine interest in Jesus, but it is concerning. Like you've already seen, apparently, We Are Tottenham TV again did it yesterday, saying that Inter need to get to Chelsea before to Lukaku before we do, and that is just a nonsense rumor. Whether it's to get Inter Milan to try and sell Bastoni to us quicker, we've also said that if we're messing about, we'll go get Bremer from Torino rather than you. So I reckon in that triangle, there is a bit of okay, let's start pushing things out to try and get deals done. But it's going to happen. It's going to happen. But with this one, with the Jesus one, I genuinely think there is some substance behind it with this one. So yeah, that's my thoughts. But now we come on to Audio Hudson is on fire. Here we go. So this question, let's have a bit of fun. Would you rather have big fingers as your big toes or big toes as your fingers?
Would you rather have fingers as big as your toes or toes as big as your fingers? I'd rather have fingers as big as my toes because I could still walk. I feel like I couldn't put my shoes on if I had the other way around, and I could manage my stubs to go.
So you know what? That is pretty much bang on what I was thinking as well.
Yeah,
that was pretty much. I couldn't imagine it the other way around. Yes, I'm going to go with that with you one. I'm going to go.
Great question.
It is, and keep them coming. Like I said, they do not have to be football related.
Yeah.
So here comes another one, and it's from a great supporter of my brother in Canada. It's from Bobby K.
What's up, Bobby?
So everyone going like the Three Spurs Boys, a fantastic channel that's up and coming. Him and his kids, who are like family to me, go give them a follow and a subscribe. For 75 million, James Ward-Prowse is overpriced. I prefer we spend less and get a Savage instead. He offers more in a 3-5-2 or as a 4-3-3, other than just free kicks. Thoughts? I don't think James Ward-Prowse is worth 75 million at all. I'm going to go first on this one.
Yeah, go for it. I got my opinion.
And you know what? I would also say that James Ward-Prowse is not worth 75 million. Not a goddamn chance. Like I said, I wanted, and I go back to the Vlahovic deal where I wanted him at all costs. We had to get him. And then when it got branded that he wanted 300 grand a week, it's like, whoa, slow your roll. There's no way you're coming in 100 grand more than Kane. What have you done to actually warrant this kind of pay?
Yeah, it's absurd.
And 75 mil, I would say it's much better here, but there are people like Savage and everything available that will be more flexible. So 75 mil, if it came out today on Sky Sports News, Tottenham can have Ward-Prowse for 75 million, I'd be, thank you, really want him, but absolutely not. Absolutely not at that price. And whilst you answer, Brian, I'm just going to the bathroom.
Yeah, for sure. My thoughts on this, Bobby, are similar to Brian's. I think 75 million is a ridiculous price, but that is what he is worth to Southampton. I think that's the thing you got to keep in mind, right? It's the club captain. I'm not forget how many goals he scored from set pieces. I think it was 9, if I'm not mistaken, maybe 10. Those goals are nearly guaranteed. He also scores from open play. He's also creating a ton. I think 75 million is a lot of money for that player, and I think that Southampton know that they can charge that amount of money. They can say 75 million. That's what we're going to put up. We think that that's how much he's worth to us, And I think the value for him to Southampton is what matters more than what we value him at, because that's what we would do with Harry Kane, or that's what we would do with Heung-Min Son, is we would say, to us, he's worth 150 million. It doesn't necessarily suit the market, but that's the reality to Southampton. That's his value, and they're not going to sell him for anything less than that. And so that's how much he's worth, because that's the club that owns him. So yeah, overpriced, but you understand why from their perspective as to why they would want to charge that much with what I had just mentioned. So yeah, too much for us to spend, and understandably, that's what they valued him at.
And I just have to say before we go to the next question, Darius wasn't the Darius from the Paxton Road, so my apologies, Darius. And yeah, I wasn't going to try and say your surname, because that is one that I would 1,000,000,000% butcher more than life itself. So apologies, Darius, and thanks for tuning in and liking the content and being part of it. Audio Artist with another one, and this is a tough question for you and me. You and me have discussed this on many a time.
All right.
Jungle or garage?
Oh man, I'm gonna have to go with jungle on that one, even though our theme song that I wrote is a garage track. I love both, but I got heavily into jungle and drum and bass as a DJ in the mid to late 90s. I was also playing house music and a little bit of garage, but jungle for me and drum and bass was I love it, absolutely love it. The bounce, the halftime, the reggae vibes. Absolutely fantastic, and I like a little bit of ganja as well, so it goes better with the jungle drum and bass and the garage. But I know what you're going to say. You go ahead, Brad.
No, do you know what? I don't know what this is. This is probably the toughest question of the whole day so far, because
it's a 50-50 one. It's a tough one, Audio Artist, and we appreciate the question.
Because I've always loved my jungle. Always loved it, but then when I started going clubbing and everything, it was when garage was kicking in. So I've got some wicked memories with garage.
Garage is good party music, like a certain vibe for sure.
So there's loads of jungle suits. Oh mate, this is so hard.
Pick one. Just pick one.
I've got to pick one.
Yeah, you got to pick one.
All right. And they're like this far apart. I'm gonna have to say garage. I'm gonna have to say garage. But it could change before the end of the show. I'm just thinking about tracks right now. But that is such a tough question.
Here's what we want you to do in the comments. If you could rank, this is a good way to do it. So we've got our theme song, which is a garage track. Go to our old channel and shout out to the lads at Tottenham Away and rate those two tracks, because those are two tracks I wrote. One is a jungle drum and bass track, and one is a garage track. Which intro do you like better? And in the comments, whether it's on this video or in our community page, we'll put a poll up. Which intro do you like better? And then that'll tell us one way or the other.
There we go. So yeah, but that is a real tough question.
Tough one, yeah.
Okay, so this one, Adisa, we've pretty much covered, which was Brian and the other guy, which is also Brian.
Thanks, buddy. Just because our names aren't up on the screen.
Your thoughts on James Maddison, James Ward-Prowse? We need some English players, as Ali, Tanguy, Winks, we all need to leave. We need some midfield creativity. Now, I think what we need to discuss just here, Brian, is the fact that we do need some midfield creativity, and we've really spoken about the midfielders, haven't we?
Yeah, I mean, this is the thing about our midfield, and it came up a little bit in a previous question, but it's the system that we play doesn't necessarily require that. You want all of your players to be creative. You want to understand what the system is and what Conte is doing and how the whole team is creative together. How do you create chances? How do you get the wing backs up and down the pitch? How do you get in behind that last defender with the right ball from Kane dropping deep? All of these different things we're doing. The 3-4-3 doesn't need that creative midfielder. Now, like I said a few minutes ago, when we were talking about playing five across that middle, that's when that creative midfielder can change the game for you. So that's where we need that player to come in. Ali, Tanguy, and Winks, none of those guys are going to do it. Tanguy arguably it has the ability, just doesn't have the mentality, unfortunately. And Ali and Winks are, Ali's gone, of course, and Winks is nowhere near it. What we have currently when it comes to Skip, Højbjerg, and Bentancur, I think Bentancur has it. I think you could play that five in the middle, push Bentancur as a 10. I've seen him blaze beautiful balls between the lines. That's what you need. You need a player who's going to see that pass, pick a perfect pass to whether it's Kane or Son making the run, and you're gonna get some creativity out of it. So we have a player that can do it. I do think we need another one, and arguably one that is their job, but they have to recognize that they're not always going to be playing or starting every game, because it's a system change when we bring in a player like that.
There you go. So yeah, I agree. The midfield we come with. This is an area, once we've got Bastoni, what I like what Conte's doing, or we think what he's trying to do, which is get the defense ready.
Mm-hmm.
And once you get the defense ready, we got Skip, thank God he'll be back. We got Højbjerg, we got Bentancur, and hopefully there'll be a couple of additions. But creativity is definitely the part where we need to strengthen that midfield. I think we've got all the other bases covered. Yeah. We're just lacking the creativity, and it's who actually comes in. But thank you, Adita, for the question. And now we bring on a superstar question from the one and only Ellie, which is, do you think we'll have a better summer or a better January transfer window, and how will that impact our season? This is a great question.
It is a good question. I think we'll have a better summer. I don't think Conte, and of course this is me again potentially being naive, I don't think Conte will accept this waiting for January to get the players he wants. I think he needs them for the preseason. As he said a million times, the preseason is one of the most important things for me as a manager that I need to have with my players in order to get them fit and understanding what it is I want them to do when the season starts. Not, okay, well, we got to wait for this player to get to January. I don't see that being the case. I think, having said that, I mean, it's speculative. Like, sometimes in January, you can't get a player you want in the summer, so you wait till the January window to get them. Maybe their contract's running out. Maybe circumstances at the club are going to get relegated, whatever. There's all these different things that could happen. And you could get a player that takes you over the line in January, which could happen. There's a possibility that that's the case. But looking at it, currently, how it would impact us, the season, I think this window is the most important.
Yeah, I mean, what we've got to factor in as well with this with January is it's the World Cup. Yeah. And when the window comes in, we all know if people have had a good World Cup, their prices are going to go absolutely through the roof. I have to hope and pray we have a better one this summer than we do January. Hopefully we'll get. I'm hoping come January we'll be at the place. Not saying we're going to win the league, but if you remember with Harry Redknapp when we had the whole Tevez and Cahill thing, yeah, we just needed a couple of additions there, just to sprucing it up and just to give it that bit of freshness, just to surmount the charge that we were on. Mm-hmm. I don't think we're winning the league this year. Do I think we'll be third? Yeah, I do.
Yeah, I think we
can against what he wants. And do I
agree.
I think we may fall off, like let's say March or whatever, and not be able to go the distance. But if we're in that fight come January, we need to help Conte. We need to strengthen.
Oh yeah, that's exactly right, 100%. If there's a chance to go to that next level and push on for other trophies that we're in the conversation with, then 100%. And like I said, we don't. It's speculative, right? January is far away. We're in the summer right now. We know what Conte's asked for, and I think that's going to be priority for sure.
Exactly. So that's a great question there, Eddie.
Just before Brad, we get into the next questions. We've got 31 questions starred right now. I think we're going to stop taking new questions in the comments. This is not because we don't want to answer. It's because we've got to get through those in a half an hour's time, or maybe 45 minutes. I can get away with an extra 15. So appreciate all the comments. If we don't get to your comments, we will get to them next time. This is a show we're going to be doing on a regular basis. So I just wanted to chuck that out there, Friday, Brian. I didn't. No,
that's fine. Also, there's still 130 odd people watching. So thank you so much for watching.
Appreciate it. Yeah.
And if we don't get your questions in, just put them like the Truth 82 did in the comments on YouTube after the show, and then we will read them first on the next one.
Yeah.
So next question is from Kev Williams, and this is just a simple one. This is do you think we will sign him? Not do you want him? Not
no. I don't think we will.
You don't think we will?
No, I don't think he'll come to Spurs because of the same reasons I outlined it before. Is that he wants to start and he's not going to start at Spurs.
Okay, I'm going to go the other way. I've got a feeling that he will come, but I think the important thing is to get Bastoni first. This is or at least that Bastoni, Bremer,
That
whoever it may
position
be.
is far more important to
Yes,
address than the
exactly.
forward position.
That's why I was here. Don't get me wrong. If it comes to the point where Art the Filth or somewhere else on the verge of getting him and he's someone Conte wants, then you have to act. Then you have to act if you really want him. But I think it's most important that we we sort out other positions first of all.
Yep.
Next one, another great supporter of the channel is Paddy Hartner.
What's up, Paddy?
Will Cody buy a new Emerson Royal jersey this season?
I don't know if we're the ones to answer this question. Cody should probably answer it if he's going to make any more bad bets. Now, what I'd like to see happen is for Brian and Cody to make a bad bet together. So no matter what, we get to see somebody do something dumb. So let's figure out in the comments. Get your bets in for Brian and Cody's bets, because let's
look at the evidence. Am I likely to put on a stupid bet at some point? 1,000,000,000%. So
yeah, and so is Cody. Good. So I mean,
listen. all I will say, superstitious me. Once I started wearing the lucky shirt, and ever since he got the Emerson shirt, things turned around. Now,
you know what also is correlated with that? Conte getting it out of the players what you would expect him to based on his quality of a manager. I'm going to go with that data over and above you guys' luck, but have fun with it.
We can have fun with it. Obviously, it could get it just maybe us putting it on gave Conte the confidence and the power and the. There you go.
Cody says no more bets.
Okay, so there you go. There's me trying to big it up. Say, well, one thing I will say, Cody proved that he was a man of his word.
He did.
Wore that proudly at the Scotland Yard for the Filth game, and it was great seeing him. And hopefully, we'll see him a lot more in the season at the Scotland Yard. But yeah, so it looks like Cody won't be putting a stupid bet on. But hold tight, because I'm sure I will.
Yeah, for sure, it's an inevitability. SOF asked, what did he do? SOF asked Cody what he did, but he's the now proud owner of a Emerson Royal.
I'll tell you exactly what he did. I'll tell you exactly what he did. SOF. So Cody put before the Newcastle game when we won 5-0, 5-1, and he said, if Emerson Royal scores, I will get an Emerson Royal shirt. Right.
That's what it was. So brilliant.
And I think we know what happened, and it did happen. And Cody ordered it instantly and wore it proudly in public, not just by himself at home. Wore an Emerson Royal shirt in front of, what do you say, about 300 Spurs fans, Brian?
Yeah.
Scotland Yard that day.
About that. Yeah, it was busy.
So fair play to Cody. SOF is back in the building. Does the Bastoni deal get done? A lot of rumours around that deal. I personally think Martinez leaves, Lukaku goes back to Inter, and they try and sign Dybala.
Yeah, I think there's a ton of really good, solid rumors. I say solid rumors. It sounds like a bit of a contradiction, but I think there's good reason to think that this is going to get over the line. It's growing. It's growing with the right people that we typically trust when it comes to the information we're getting. And I think the Bastoni deal is arguably probably one of the most important, if not the most important one for Conte, and he's going to really, really push to get this deal done. So I do think it'll get done. I think Bastoni will be signed post international break, and I think we'll see that get announced maybe early next week or late next week.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to say I really, really do want this to get. I mean, from what we're hearing, he sounds like he said, right, if you need the money and you need me to go because I love this club, I'll do it. But so I think it will get done. I don't know if it will get done as quickly as what Brian's saying. I really think that this will get done. I always said that if the deal gets done, then I'm going to be a lot more optimistic throughout the summer, because this is Conte's.
Yeah, it will trigger everything else that needs to happen, and you'll see. We'll know for sure all of the questions we're asking, whether or not he's going to get backed or not. That would be because obviously the Perisic deal is a great deal that shows a lot, but it was on a free. So you're not spending the money yet. You're just doing some stuff that's good, which we've seen us do before. That's huge. I want to bring up a quick comment here from a good friend of the channel, Mr. Matty Hayes. Matty Hayes. He gets to butt the line, folks, on when he's joining Tottenham On Tour for a stream soon. Matty, we'd love to do the transfer window special with you. We'll talk to you about that in the near future. Thanks for the comment, and we definitely. He
actually let me know he's free the next couple of Fridays as well. So
let's set it up. When the window's open, we'll do a transfer update with you, Matty, and we'll get you on the channel. Thanks for the comments. I'm glad you're here. Appreciate it.
It's always good to see Matty Hayes in the building. So So yeah, let's go on to the next question, which is from Ricardo Suarez. Assuming Conte gets his signings in, what do you think is a realistic target for next season? Top 4 and a trophy, just one, or the 2?
I think the top 4. I think the top 4 is on. If even if he only gets half his signings, I still think we're going to finish in that 4th position. I think the quality of signings that we get will help us whether or not we can get above Chelsea, and then if we get all of the signings, if we can get everybody that he wants in every scenario position that he wants, I think we can start to talk about challenging. And that is only because, and I know that, again, this is going to sound diluted to some people, only because of what Conte has been able to do in the past. And that's what I'm basing it on, with a club that backs him properly, and he gets the players he wants in the positions he wants. And we've seen him do it. We've seen him win trophies. We've seen him win the title on a few occasions in doing that. So, I think the top 4 is irrelevant, and the trophy particularly will come from if he's backed. If he gets like I said earlier in the stream, if he gets 2/3 of his targets, that will be in for a trophy. If he gets them all, we'll be in for a conversation about the top about winning the league. But I'd say that reluctantly, it's a conversation. I don't expect it. I understand Liverpool and City are far ahead of us, but the Conte effect is a thing.
Yeah. So for me, my expectation, if Conte gets his signings, is 3rd and at least the FA Cup or League Cup, preferably the FA Cup. But I'll take the League Cup to get that first trophy. The FA Cup still holds the magic for me as it did in '91. Bob Spurs speaks about it regularly as well, about the love for the FA Cup never dying. So for me, if he gets what he wants, 3rd in a domestic cup is the minimum expectation for myself.
Yeah.
And I believe, obviously, Conte will say, I want to go for the league. And that's what great managers do. They say that. But I think if he gets what he wants, we can pursue. And then the season after that, and I'm not going to go too much detail in it because I have to see a question from Roy into that we'll discuss this more. So, yeah, so for me, 3rd and a domestic trophy minimum, if he gets what he wants, should be the target.
Yep.
And next channel, I love it when we get fans from other channels, and this guy is always supporting all the Tottenham channels, so it's always great to see Wolves in. So can Spurs challenge even City on European on the Premier League, if 4-5 signings are home a home run?
Yeah, this is basically, I just answered this question from my perspective. I think if we get the players in that he wants, and I'm going to say it again, over 2/3 of 75% of what he's asked for, we can certainly challenge. If he gets them all, we can be in that conversation because of Conte and what he's done in the past and what he's capable of. So yeah, it's kind of answered already, but great question, Wolves Fly.
Yeah, for me, I always say I have a feeling this season coming up, I feel we'll be just like what we did with Leicester and Chelsea in those 2 years, where we'll be the serious challenger for it, and then maybe not just be able to go that distance. And that'll be tremendous from where we've been, like Conference League, now in the Champions League.
Yeah, I mean, it's a massive step up. So
it'll be a massive step. But I think if you look at the two teams over the last couple of seasons, the runs they go on are just win. They're relentless. They're just unstoppable. And it's going to take.
We can do that though. We beat Man City both games we played them, and we were Liverpool two results as well. So we just have to be as good as them against the other teams in the league. We have to learn how to break down teams that sit deep, which is going to happen to us even more.
It's you look at their squad in depth as well. And they Man City specifically chuck money about like going out of fashion.
Yeah.
Jurgen Klopp has them like an army, like literally they run through, which Conte will do. But I think they've slowly built that. That was built, and over the last 2, 3, 4 years, Liverpool been able to go toe to toe with them. And I think the longer we can keep, which is coming on to the next question. But yeah, I think going into next season, if he gets what he wants, we will be the one that basically we're like.
We're going to be in the conversation, I think.
Yeah.
And how good or in depth that conversation is will depend on some of the things that need to happen, whether he's given the right tools to have it. So
exactly. So Roy Park, who's a great supporter of the channel as well.
What's up, Roy?
So Conte has only guaranteed managing us for the upcoming season only, correct? Yes, it is correct at the moment. No long-term contract has been signed. So
yeah, I'm not sure what the question is,
one.
but I think it's just sort of a speculative question, if I'm not mistaken. No, I mean he signed an 18-month contract, so half a season plus the next season. I think that can change depending on what happens in the summer. Again, it's all this sort of depends what happens in the summer scenario.
Well, you've got to remember as well. He signed an 18-month with an 18-month extension.
Yep.
There on the table. So what we want to see right now is forget that extension, sign a 2-3 year deal, and say, right, this is it. I've committed. Not that this is a. Do you know what? This is a huge part of it. If you see Conte commit, it is a huge part of it, and I think him doing that again will be absolutely massive for the fan base, for the club, for the Premier League to think, okay, this guy has signed up. This guy ain't mucking about. He ain't here for 18 months. Then swanning off. So yeah, I think this. Hopefully the contract will get announced. Hopefully, I mean, we'll go back to the beginning of the show where I said that circle was it could in the kit launch. Maybe it could be tomorrow that we're all blown away and Conte signs a contract. And for people that didn't come in from the start, if you watch the video of the kit launch very closely, there's a bit with the calendar where it's all highlighted for today, and then there's a massive circle for the next day, which says big day or words to that effect. Now, obviously, it could be them just subliminal, just saying stuff. It could be happening, or it could be what we're doing now going, oh my God, is tomorrow going to be something? Edge of your seat. But how good would it be to see Conte sign a brand new deal and that be tomorrow as opposed to Kane or whatever? It would be great. But getting back to Roy's question, yeah, I think he needs to sign a deal, and then it's like the whole world stands up and goes, okay, this guy ain't messing around.
Yeah, it means he means business at that point. Just want to shout out to everybody in the comments. We've got 100 likes on the stream, so appreciate that. Brian will now get a really shitty tattoo of me on his butt. How about that?
Why is it you and Bob with me and tattoos on my butt?
I only like how uncomfortable you get about it, so that's why I said it.
I mean, mate, when I put stupid bets on, I'll honour them. When people put words in my mouth, I think you should get a tattoo.
Well, I'm not going to make a bad bet to do it, but I'll get one.
There you go. So Simon Cohen has just put the 150 million might go on the ladies' team. If that did, it's not wrong, but if that did, without being sexist or anything like that, I think the place will go into a blooming war.
Yeah, I think there'll be money. There will be money spent on the women's team, and some of that money. Some of that money will go there. It's just that when you're looking at transfer fees in the women's league, and the cost of wages and stuff, it's not the same scenario. So you could spend 20 million and get 6 new players comfortably, and it wouldn't be an issue. So, but yeah, I think there's a little bit of a joke there in what Simon's saying, in the idea that it's sort of open ended. It could go on and off the pitch kind of scenario that we mentioned earlier.
Exactly.
And I think that's the joke. But some of it will go to that team eventually. But we have
rightly so. They did well last season.
They did very well
compared to the season before, and rightly so. They get some of that money. But if it was the whole 150 million, I think there would be a fair few people that might have something to
would
say
get
about
burned
it.
down, probably.
Yeah, that's a nicer way of putting it.
Yeah.
So back to Wayne, Mr. 57 Screens. Your thoughts on if the Romero fee will come out of the 150 million, or will it be separate?
Yeah, I think I don't know what his contract, and maybe this is a question for Matty Hayes in regards to the details of his contract when it comes to what what he was given as far as bonuses are concerned, and then obviously how much I don't know the structure of the deal, but some of it might come out of the 150, some of it might come out of the Champions League money, some of it might come out of the league money, the TV revenue. I think what the club's going to do is, because we've got a windfall here with all of these things, plus the 150 million injection, is they're going to manage all of these things equally in the best possible way they know how, to make sure that the players are happy and that they're doing their job at the best possible level that they can do it at. And that we can, like Brian said earlier, which I think is massively important, is top off those deals that we normally don't get done, but we have the money to do it now. This deal, Romero deal, it's arguably the best signing we've had in a long time. And that's saying a lot, because we've had a couple of very good ones, but Romero's just been absolutely brilliant. So wherever it comes from, I don't care. Just get it done.
Yeah. No, I mean, from what I remember as well, I can't remember if I heard it on Matt Hayes' show or.
Yeah, Matt, this is Matty's comment on it here. Sorry to interrupt
Here you
quickly.
go.
Structure of the deal, but there has been some mentions of potential installments. I think
That's
that's what I
exactly
was.
what I was about to say.
Yeah,
that's exactly what I was about to say.
Sorry to interrupt. I think that's what I was referencing. I was thinking there was something about the structure of the deal, the bonuses. But
That's exactly what I was saying when I was. I think it was Matt I was listening to, and from what other people are saying, this has been set in instalments, so it's an obligation to buy, or an option which we're now taking, obviously, and it is structured from what I've been hearing. It's instalments. So if it is instalments and it's coming out of that 150, then I couldn't care less.
It doesn't really matter because the installments have probably already been considered. I would think, because we didn't even know any of the extra money was coming in or that 150 million when we brought him in or when the contract was signed. So it was set up for that in particular.
Yep, and then we've got Adita coming in again. Adita's got a few coming in right now. So here we go. We need Liverpool chairman and Liverpool's technical director to win things without being Chelsea and City. Your thoughts?
I don't agree. I mean, I think you can do these things with other people in these positions who are capable. I think we've seen, and I recognize that there have not every transfer has been as good as we'd hope with what Perisic has done so far. But I mean, if you look at the two that have had a massive effect in Bentancur and Kulusevski, the Liverpool's technical director has done a great job. They've also been quite lucky. I don't think you can look at what Liverpool did and be like, wow, everything that they've done is amazing. They got very lucky with the sale of Coutinho at 140 million to Barcelona and bought the two best players in the two positions that they needed that were available and kicked on from that. That was a very lucky situation. Don't get me wrong. They've done a good job. They've got good players coming through. I'm not suggesting they don't have, a good technical director and, and of course Chelsea and City with their money. That's just a whole other situation. But for me, for me, I think we've got a good system in place and I think we can compete, especially with the manager we have.
So no, I mean, I'm going to go the other way. I mean, I'm not saying we need Liverpool. I think we need to have the kind of philosophy that they have, not specifically them. You say lucky with Coutinho. Coutinho wanted to go the season before, but they said give us another season. The deal came up.
What I'm saying is the timing of that deal and what they needed and when they needed it was lucky, and it's hard to argue that, right?
Well, no, I mean, you look at it and say you look at and I always use this one. You go back to the Kyle Walker deal. And how many millions it has taken to try and get the right back. And in fact, we're still looking for the right back. Whereas Liverpool went and got what the manager wanted. And that's what they've done. When you look at Luis Diaz, here we go. Yeah,
just an update from Matty. I just want to post it while you're talking. Sorry to interrupt there with the comment, but I thought...
no, go on.
Thanks, Matty, for the update. Tottenham in talks with Inter Milan to sign central defender Alessandro Bastoni. Antonio Conte and Fabio Paratici keen to get majority of transfer business done before preseason. This we know. It's an update that I think, Matty, appreciate it. Doesn't change a heck of a lot from sort of where our position is on whether or not it's going to happen. Hopefully it does, but good to see the conversation that's still happening because I don't. The last thing I want to see is them be like, yeah, the Bastoni deal is done. He doesn't want to leave. He doesn't want to leave his boyhood club, which could be something we should be preparing ourselves for. Yeah, I mean, hopefully we'll get some more movement on it. But hearing positivity about it, yeah, it's good stuff. It's better than hearing it's dead in the water. It's this, it's that. We know. Listen, one thing I will say, and people will say that we know that big deals like this, and this is a big deal. And I don't just mean financially. I mean the stature of this player and what he could do. Yeah, this isn't going to be just like done by, see you later. This is going to take time to come to the right deal that benefits both parties and Bastoni. So the fact that it's still in talking is positive in my opinion. So the next one from Adita is Conte needs 8 players at least, 2 already signed. 6 more is needed to be anyway. Okay, so that's just again not a question. Yeah, yeah. So we'll get past that one. Okay, last one from him. If we don't back Conte, then PR, Football London, Addy Gold, all these need to be called out for peddling absolute bullshit as they do every season. Thoughts? Yeah, I mean, I agree with Aditya on this as far as a lot of the clickbait bullshit that comes out. The papers need something for people to talk about. It makes sense that they're doing it, but I also hate it at the same time. So yeah, we can call them out now. I don't think we need to wait. I think we could just say stop with the nonsense and stop posting bullshit. We'd rather just see finished transfers done. It's done. This is done. It's signed. The holding up the shirt stuff. So yeah, we can absolutely call him on it. I think we are going to back Conte though, so I'm not sure that I'm worried too much about that.
So I've got to see now. I'm a huge fan of Ali Gold. Huge fan of Ali Gold, and I have been from the very beginning when he was walking around the stadium. And I say this, and I mean this with every bit of conviction that I say with Ali Gold. What you got to remember with Ali Gold is you got Ali Gold, the Spurs fan, and you have Ali Gold, the reporter. Now, Ali Gold, the reporter, pays for his children's upbringing, pays for the bills, does this, does that. He can't always come out and says what he says. I've got a lot of time for it. I can understand where people get this from. And don't get me wrong, there are ITKs out there, or not even ITKs, people that just peddle. And I'll mention one for starter would be in the Spurs web.
Oh, they're terrible.
That will just post anything and everything, and I do mean anything and everything. What's happened is this also has to be this Tottenham Hotspur, and I might be wrong in this because obviously I follow Tottenham religiously. I've never seen a club linked to so many players, and it never comes to fruition. And I partly blame the ownership for that because we're in such a mixed match. We have no philosophy of where we're going. We went for Tomiyasu, a right wing back. We end up with Hill, a left winger. We have no plan. We have no. These people will come out with these rumours. What I've done now, there's very, very, very few I listen to. Very, very, very few I listen to. Ali Gold is one of them.
Yeah, I mean, so Ali Gold for me, and it's sometimes I listen, sometimes I don't. It's relatively obvious based on the headline, whether it's clickbait or whether he's actually doing some journalism and he's going to talk about something interesting that has value to it. He does both. I think in journalism, especially sports journalism across the board, whether it's football or American football or anything else, because of the competition, they have to do it. It sucks. And we have to sift through it and determine whether or not it's bullshit or not. But most of the time you can just read a title and be like, that doesn't look like it's worth reading. Like just vague stuff that doesn't say anything is very, very common. Ali Gold does it too. Because of the paper he's, the blog that he's associated with in Football London. It sort of has that bit to it that is slightly annoying when it comes to a lot of the nonsense that gets spouted. But it's going to continue to happen. And I would just think critically when you're looking at it, determine whether something's likely true or not, or whether you should spend time reading it, but based on what looks like a clickbait article. If it looks like a duck, it quacks like a duck, it's probably a duck.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is as well is I obviously I am very, very vocal when it comes to some stupid rumors coming out and whatever. And I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ. But I've learned now, especially this summer, I'm kind of taking a different approach. Rather than jumping on the bandwagon of everything that's being reported. And like I said, there are people that I listen to. There are people that I love listening to. And one of them is in the building, and it's Matt Hayes. I love Matt Hayes. Listen,
That has been great. Yeah,
he gets his information. He puts a lot of work into the transfer rumours. There's lots of people that love him. There's lots of people that don't. I have got all the time in the world for Matt Hayes. I get on with him famously. He's a dear friend of mine. And the amount of work he puts in is absolutely incredible. It doesn't mean that everyone has to enjoy what Matt does or agree with what Matt does.
And that's it too, right, Brian? I mean,
that's what it comes to. That's why this summer I'm rather than going nuclear like I do on every single thing that goes wrong, I'm just biding my time. I think
I've had a positive influence, Brian, on your.
No, do you know what it's not even that. It's not even that. You remember once the money came in and was declared, and Matt Hayes even read the tweet that I put out on his show, and when I did it on our channel when we spoke about it, this is what I protested for. It wasn't just to get Levy out. It's like, Levy, if you're going to stay, spend money. I didn't think you were, but you've now said you are. Let's see. But yeah, we'll have to see what happens this
Just
summer.
from Matty Hayes. Matty Hayes still in the comments, and he's thanking thanking you for the love. But yeah, cheers, Matty. And we do appreciate you, and we will have him on the show to discuss transfer rumors and the ingoings and outgoings of Tottenham Hotspur. In a couple weeks' time, we'll work out the date on that, and we'll let everybody know it's happening. Because yeah, Matty is a friend of the channel and reliable source for what's going on, and of course sometimes gets it wrong, guys, so don't get mad at him when he does, because sometimes people get it wrong. We're all human here. He's not perfect. Journalism is not easy.
Exactly. So let's start going through these ones. So Ben Coffman, what type of cake do I want on Friday? I love a bit of Genoa cake. I love Genoa cake. So if you've got any Genoa cake, save me a slice, because I want some of that. Now the next question, and it's from Paul Reed. Remember when we were talking about a midfielder that I want?
Yeah.
Now, here's the name. Here is the name in a goddamn heartbeat. Jude Bellingham from Dortmund. All day, every day, twice on a Sunday. That's, if I have to say the midfielder I want, but I don't think it will happen. 1 billion, mate, above Savic, above. I love this dude, and he is so young. There you go. Thank you, Paul. I think you've got the answer. Would I take him? Yeah, just ever so slightly.
I think my comment on this would be I would be reluctant to take him as quickly as you are. I think he's done well at Dortmund. The German league, it doesn't always translate to playing well in the Premier League. He, like you said, he is quite young. He's also a bit slight. I'd like to see him get a bit stronger. There are other players I put in there before him, but I wouldn't be mad if we brought him in. I think he offers a lot, and the potential is there. Can he play in a Conte system with the physicality it demands? I'm not quite sure.
I think he could, especially that's why I'm so happy that so many young English people are going to Germany, because I think
because they're going to get more playing time there. I think that's.
Oh yeah, but I'm saying when they come back, that is the most like for like to the English league. The pace, the physicality compared to France, Italy, Spain, where it's more technical. I Jude Bellingham all day long for me. Another great support, Angel Matos. In Bizarro World, would you accept 100 million for Tanguy and Gio from the filth, knowing they would both play at a world-class level? I would. That's how far ahead of them I know we are. That's a great question.
It's a good question, Angel. I like that one. It's got a little bit of character to the question. I would 100% take it, because you can have them. They suit your club. They think they're better than they are, and they ask for more money than they deserve, and they're not good enough for Tottenham Hotspur Football Club.
Yeah, I mean, I'll just slightly add on that. I'd let it happen as well, because then they get above their station. Arsenal will give them the dreaded 350 grand a week. They get the 350 grand a week, and then do the Aubameyang and Ozil on them.
Exactly.
So yeah, I would definitely take that. Next one, Eugene Brother from Spurssuasion. Everyone check out Spurssuasion TV.
What's up, Eugene? How you doing, brother?
Will you be there when Stell is wearing the I Love Arsenal jersey at the We Are Tottenham? Okay, so I'll let people know.
Story behind this.
I'll let people know now, for people that didn't know. Obviously, I'm over here for Ben's wedding from We Are Tottenham TV, and to see my nephews and my niece, and it's my birthday in June, and I wanted to be with my nephews and my niece during that time, seeing that I live in Canada now. I will be taking over from Ben after the wedding. So for the next 2 weeks, after this week, it will be me and Simeon in the studio every single day. So I will be there every single day. So if he's doing it during that time, then yes, I will be there. If he's not, then I won't. But you will find me on We Are Tottenham TV as of next week in the studio, and I cannot wait. Oh, great question from Ellie. What is your all-time favorite restaurant and why?
Oh man, all-time favorite restaurant. Trying to think. I have a couple. I mean, and I love certain type of food. I love Italian food. There's a restaurant in Toronto called Tironi on Queen Street, and it used to be down the street from me. And they have incredible pizza, thin crust, proper margarita pizza. They had incredible coffee. They had a really great breakfast. So I could like walk down the street and just eat there all day and be like happy. And then at the time I had met not my current girlfriend, but my girlfriend at the time who worked there. So I had a bunch of conveniences. So it was my favorite at the time. Favorite of all time? I don't know if I have one. I don't know if I have a favorite of all time. I've had many. I eat out a lot. I've had many great experiences eating out. I don't know if I could pick a specific restaurant, so I'm gonna refrain from doing so. But I will go with Tironi as my favorite of all time in my life living in Toronto.
All right, so I'm gonna have to split this between London and Toronto. So for London, I've got two. One was which I don't go to anymore because my cousin has left that restaurant for a better job. But my cousin Andrew used to be the manager of the Michelin star Galvin at the Windows, which was on the 28th floor of the Park Lane Hilton.
Oh, nice. That's
and
posh.
Yeah, and the views there, and I used to go there quite a bit with him, and the meals there were just absolutely incredible. And the other one, I'm just going to pick an easy one for London, and Eddie's been there, is where we have our curry nights. There's a curry house that we all go to when we have our curry nights, and there's been a few whilst I've been back in Canada, which is at an Indian restaurant called The Village in Winchmore Hill, where the best curries I've had in England. They are just incredible. I've been going there for about 15, 16 years. So it'll be those. And then when it comes to Canada, there is, and I love this, it's a brunch restaurant, and Brian, you'll probably know it. It's by the Scotland Yard, actually. It's called Le Petit Déjeuner.
Oh, yeah, I've been there. Petit Déjeuner.
It's a wonderful little family-run restaurant, which is a brunch cafe, really funky. And they do the best eggs Benedict, like different kinds of specialities on it. I love my eggs Benedict, and it's the first breakfast I have with my wife as a married man.
See, I think that's a different question of favorite breakfast restaurant compared to favorite restaurant. But
that restaurant is, and then
it's good.
You know what? The only other thing is obviously there's the steakhouse, which is the Keg.
Yeah, but that's not good steak. It's average.
If you go to the right one, and the one again by the Scotland Yard on the Esplanade.
Yeah, it's good.
It is very good. But there's a restaurant Ilana keeps going on about that I keep promising to take her to, but the wait's a bit long, which is Canoe.
Oh yeah,
which is meant to be a top restaurant. Very so that is a great question from you, Ellie. The next one from Simon Cohen. Matt Cash at right back from Villa. After what he did to Doherty, no goddamn way.
Yeah, I mean, as a player, I would take him because I think how much does he improve our right back position? He's just going to add depth. I don't know that I would take him, especially based on what Brian just said. I think what he did to Doherty was pretty brutal. But as a player, he's got some qualities. He's done okay at Villa. For me.
You want to make that noise again? That was quite good noise.
Yeah, that's what it is.
That was quite okay. So let's go on to the next
just to let you guys know, I don't have a ton of time. I got about 15 minutes left, and I got to run. So we're going to try to bounce through these questions. We got 16 questions left. Some of them, if they're doubled, we'll skip through them. But hopefully, we can get to yours. And if we don't, like Brian said, we will get to them to the next stream.
Yeah, put them in the comments on the YouTube comments. Just copy and paste your thing. Put it in the comments on YouTube afterwards, and we will do them first. We'll probably do another one next week.
Get your super chats in and we'll get them.
Yeah, exactly. We'll get your super chats in. Exactly. So next one, serious question. Can Perisic play a right wing back? If yes, then why not Kostic for the left?
I think Perisic can play anywhere on the pitch. I think he's that good of a footballer that, he could play right wing back. I think that would make him an inverted wing back, which isn't the worst thing to have. He can cut in with his left foot. He's actually got both a left and right foot. I don't think it really would matter to him too much. And I think Kostic, you could play on the left wing back as well. He's a left-sided center half and a 3 typically, but could also play in a left wing back role, and I think these are the types of players that Conte wants: the versatility, the quality, and the ability to sort of shift and move as he needs to, and it not affect the system that he wants to play. So 100%, I think you could do that if we needed to.
There we go. So yeah, for me, this is the dream partnership. I would love to see this. Everyone wants Kostic. He's been phenomenal, and Perisic can play there. If this could be done, and then Bastoni in, wow, that defense. That defense is like, here we go. Let's try and get past us. So that's what I'd love to happen. Next one, Agda von Wembley, who was at the training ground with me back in January, a top man, big Toronto fan as well. If there's any chance that Ndombele could be rehabilitated back into the club, should we give him one last chance?
Not for me, no. 100% no.
Done. Do you know what? If he hadn't have done what he did in the FA Cup, walking off so slowly,
that was it for me.
I may have been like, yep, maybe, but that was like...
That was it for me. Get it out of my club. That was just so brutal. There's no class whatsoever.
There we go. So this one, I mean, everyone's going to know my answer, but Stratton Goes Mad, I think you're new, so welcome to the channel. Make sure you give us a subscribe because we have loads of content coming your way, sorry. This This is going to take me 2 seconds to answer, so you can answer first, Brian. What player would you have at Spurs in their prime right now?
I'll probably pick Luka Modric because I think what he would bring to, and I know that's sort of more recency bias to some extent, but I explained my sort of history with supporting Spurs. What he's capable of in what he was capable of in his prime and his peak is exactly what we need in this system. A player who can play deep lying if need be, or can get up the pitch if need be, but can pick a pass. And my God, can he pick a pass? And he's also just resilient as hell and keeps the ball and does everything you want a midfielder to do. So I'd pick Luka Modric. And it's what we need. It's what we need too, more than oh my God, the goals he scored, which is obviously understandable.
So we need creativity. We need someone that can pass the ball. We need someone that can dribble. We need someone that can take set pieces. 3 words: Paul Gaza Gascoigne. This will always be.
I thought you might forget him again, Brian. Sorry.
Oh, don't you stop. That for me, that every time I'm asked this question, it doesn't even take me a minute to think. It's always going to be.
I knew what you were going to say it, so it's pretty. It's
always Paul Gascoigne. But thank you, Adrian Schrocker. So everyone check out his Die Hard Spurs Facebook group as well. It's a fantastic group, and we're going to get Adrian on the channel very soon now that he's sorted out his connection issues. So yeah, who do you think we could possibly sign out of these strikers? Martinez, I can never say that guy's name. The second one, Samaka, Ossenheim, Nunes, Jonathan David, Jonas Hoffman, Belotti, Jesus, Richarlison, Isaac.
I would go with Richarlison. We could sign Jesus. We could. I don't think we will, but I think we could. Jonathan David, we could, but I don't think we will. That would be what I would, maybe Osimhen as well. I would throw in there, but that would probably be it.
I would add to that. Belotti, Isaac. They're the ones I think that we could get. I'm not gonna.
What's Belotti's contract situation right now?
Yeah, he's going to be on a free.
Oh, so maybe I could see that then. Sorry, I thought he had a year left on his contract.
I think Isaac, who hasn't had a great season this season, can be something very, very special.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so that's the one I'm going for. Kuva. If you had to choose any non-football personality to manage the club, who would you choose and why?
Oh, that's a good question, but good. Could we have read that like an hour ago so I could have thought about it?
Why do you think I'll go?
Okay,
and
go.
People know I have an obsession with a certain man. His name is Dwayne The Rock Johnson, but I'm not choosing him. I'm choosing Daigle 316, Stone Cold Steve Austin, because if all shit went to pot, he would raise hell and get the job done. So I am going with Stone Cold Steve Austin.
I honestly don't have an answer for this right now. I need a minute. We can move on to the next question. I'll think about it, and
okay.
I'll come back to answering it, because great question, Kuva.
If you were from Ryan McFarlane, who did mention this on our Twitter, I forgot to bring it up. If you were a soup, what kind of soup would you be?
I would be a spicy cream of tomato. Got some heat to it. It's smooth and subtle, and you can dip anything into it you want.
Jesus Christ, where do I go with it? I was thinking about this, but I was like, I was going to say, should I say I'll be a lobster bisque because I'm classy, silky, and all that? I was like, wait a minute, those names don't really go. So I'm going to go with a Heinz Big Soup. For people in England that know it, Heinz Big Soup are
a Heinz out of a can, are you?
And have loads of chunky bits in it that will. So yeah, that I'd have to say I'll be a Heinz Big Soup. But
great question though, Ryan.
Great. I love it. People, next time we do this, get your non-footballing questions in because we love them.
They're fun.
But Zuma's court case hearing is coming soon. Thoughts?
I don't have any. I mean, he should be charged. Off you go. You did some really shitty things. You're a shitty person.
There you go. And that will be the end of him coming to us.
Yeah.
Catman Jess, big up the Catman. Would you rather have 20 St. Bernards or 100 tabby cat as a pet if you had to choose?
I'd probably go with cats. I'm a dog and cat person. I like both animals, but cats are less maintenance. And 20 St. Bernards, having to walk 20 St. Bernards or having to deal with their shit, because of how big it would be. At least the cats you can let outside and they can poo and piss wherever they want. Just leave the door open. St. Bernards, you're fucked. So I'd go with the cats.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we both live in apartments, so 20 St. Bernards will be a huge fucking
100
issue.
tabby cats wouldn't fit in my apartment either, but
yeah, well, I mean, I am so much a dog person, but people know we have a cat, Simba, who I'm absolutely obsessed with. My dream dog is Rottweiler. If you had said 20 Rottweilers, then I would automatically choose 20 Rottweilers. But yeah, I think if I had a big house, then I would choose 20 St. Bernards all the time.
Yeah, I mean, if I had a big house and the money to pay for somebody to walk them or to feed them or to like help me with them, that's a lot of dogs. One dog is like having a child, never mind 20 of them.
And I just want to say, for Earth Below, what a fantastic show. Kudos to Brian's Times 2 and all of the chat monsters. Brilliant. Thank you very much indeed. Dan THFC, big up,
What's
my
up,
man.
Danny boy? How you doing, buddy? It's been a long time.
On your show last night. It was 2:30 in the morning, my time. Are you going to buy from Sonny's clothing brand?
I didn't know he had one, and
he's just released it.
If I like the clothes, I absolutely will, and if they're affordable, I haven't seen any of it yet. Dan, send us a link in our chat on the WhatsApp so we can take a look at it if you're still in the comments. I'd like to see what it is. I don't even know the name.
Yeah, I saw him release it. It's called something S7 for obvious reasons. But there's something before, and it's not HMS. There's something, but yeah, if it's affordable. And I like the product. Of course, I'd 100% anything to help Sonny
support Sonny
and have
sure.
something Sonny.
Yeah.
So, another THFC Brown. Would you get Kessie on a free now? The move now that the move from Barca has fallen through. Wow.
I didn't know it had fallen through. Would I take Kessie on a free now? 100%. I would. I think that's a player that I was at the top of my list when it comes to the type of midfielder we need at Spurs at the moment, and I would take him in a second. I didn't know that it had fallen through, so there's some hope.
Yeah, it happened like the thing with Aguero. They can sign him, but they can't register him or whatever.
Oh, so because their finances are still
yeah.
Right.
So I would 100% love to go for him. Paddy Hartner, if you could pick one player that we can realistically get, who would you like?
I mean, I'm going to go with the one we're trying to get, Bastoni. I think that what he does to our defense and the level that it puts us at, compared to where we are now, would be massive. It's a question I could think about and come up with a different answer depending on the time and day you asked me about it, because there's so much we've needed for a long time. But I think what he would mean as a signing for this club currently in the situation we're in right now would I think there would be a domino effect to any other player coming in any perception of what it is that Spurs are doing this summer and where we're going to be next season. Yeah,
I mean, so I'm going to go somewhere different because obviously I'm not going to pick Ward-Prowse because obviously people know that's but 75 million, no.
Too much money.
I'd really like us to get Dumfries.
Dumfries is a good shout. Yeah,
I'd really like us to get Dumfries. The other one, if we're going forward, would be Jesus. I'm really coming around to that deal. But Dumfries again is back in defence is where we need the most surgery. So if I had to do it, it would be that. KJ Hotspur. Outside of YouTube, what do you both do for a living?
Well, I'm an audio engineer. I work in live events, and I have a music studio, and I produce music. And go check out my new release. I just put out a new track on Friday called House Arrest. The Man with Three Heads is my production name. You can go to Spotify, you can go to Apple Music. I'm going to shamelessly self promote right now. You can to go check it out. And new track came out. It's doing really well. A couple thousand people have streamed it so far, and hopefully more will come. I will put the link in the comments so you guys can go check it out.
There you go. So yeah, for me, I mean, at the moment, I'm currently out of work. I was senior management for Booking.com in the Toronto office, but they closed the office due to COVID, which broke my heart, and I'm still actually recovering from that. That was the greatest job, and I love that company and whatever. But I have a job interview this evening, actually, at 8:30 our time, which is 3:30 back home, to be a team leader for another company.
Very exciting.
So yeah, hopefully. I will be back, but customer service is what I do normally at senior management. So So yeah, that's what we do. ABC123. Big up to you both, lads. Not sure if anyone has asked this, but I'm curious to hear both your thoughts on the ideal midfielder for next season. We have kind of touched on that.
Yeah, I mean, we just spoke about it in the last conversation about what's his name not going to Barcelona anymore. I mean, if Kessie, I mean, Kessie for me he fits the every bit of the profile we're looking for. So that would be my first choice.
And the last question we have, and like I said, this will be the last question. So everyone else, sorry we couldn't get to you, but we are going to be doing this regularly. So just put your questions in the comments on the YouTube comments, and we will answer those first.
Yep. And get your super chats in when you're here, because if you want your question answered right away, we'll do those faster. We're trying. We need help. A little support's helpful. So
it's from Adrian W, which is: does the Scotland Yard in Toronto show all Spurs game will be potentially over at some point next season? Yeah, Adrian, listen, reach out to me on social media or any platform. The Scotland Yard are brilliant with us. They even open up at 7 a.m. for us for the 7:30 kickoffs. They didn't so much this season because we were just coming out of COVID and they had to get a load of new staff in and train them up. But regardless, it doesn't matter what other game is on. If Spurs are on, Tottenham Hotspur will always be shown.
Yep.
No matter what channel, no matter what time, no matter what game, at the Scotland Yard, the world famous home of Toronto Spurs, and they're even opening up early for the World Cup at like 5 a.m. for England and for Canada, obviously. So yeah, this pub, they do so much work for us. They do so much work for Toronto Spurs. Obviously, Brian's got a pub he goes to as well, which is called the Done Right.
The Done Right Inn, yeah. It's a West End. If you're in the West End of Toronto and you want to go see a Spurs game as well, Sean is a good buddy of mine there. He's turned it into a Spurs bar. He cooks some food at halftime, and lots of good supporters there. And it's a different vibe than Scotland Yard. It's a bit more of a dive, but it's good fun. And I also go to the Yard as well because I love going there. Both experiences are fantastic. It's nice to have two options. One is closer to my house, so if I'm a little hungover the next day, I usually go to one that's closer, as you can imagine. But both are fantastic. And Scotland Yard has done amazing things for Toronto Spurs. So shout out to them and appreciate everything that they do for a great cause. And we really appreciate it. It's fantastic.
Exactly. And we hope to see anyone that ever wants to come over to Toronto, just reach out to me on social media or reach out to us on the live chat or comment. We'll get in touch and show you around Toronto and show you the great city we both call home. And but most importantly, thank you. There's still 115 people in the chat. Thank you.
Appreciate
so much
everybody who was here. I mean, great numbers today. Everybody was really engaged. It was a ton of fun. Really appreciate it.
Exactly. And there's a lot more coming up from us. Danny might be premiering something. There's going to be another Daigel's Digest. We might get that out today or tomorrow. They're going to be back regularly. We're going to get the podcast back up and running. Obviously, transfer stuff. And you're also
Matty Hayes will be joining us since he's volunteered himself.
Hey, he will be. And you will see me on We Are Tottenham or in the We Are Tottenham TV studios for the next couple of weeks. Now, I just want to say a big up. I've just seen Terry Wright has just joined us. Oh, he's been there all the time. Brilliant. Terry, it's great to see you. It's great to see new people. Just like and subscribe because there's a lot of stuff coming our way. And thank you for watching.
Really appreciate you guys. Appreciate everybody, all the roadies who've joined us today, who keep joining us and keep supporting us. We will be back soon, and we'll see you next time. Cheers. Have a good one.
All right, Conte. Tottenham On Tour. Tottenham On Tour.